Alberto, what's up, dude? Can you hear me? Testing, testing, 1, 2. That is really loud. You guys are gonna hear my heartbeat. This thing's on so sensitive.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh yeah, I can hear you. Turn it up a little bit. It's going good. You guys have video too, or no video? Looks like no video. Oh, you guys can literally hear my heartbeat.
I'll get it. Everybody calm down.
You gotta teach us how to make $1 million a year.
Yeah, do you want to know your first tip?
Yes.
Be in the right place at the right time. Saturday, delivering some letters down in this new construction neighborhood, and literally some letters that some homeowners needed to get some bond money. And I see this little old couple doing this to one of the homes for sale. And so I pull up and say, "Hey, do you want to look at this house?" They say, "Oh, we'd love to. Are you a realtor?" And I say, "Yeah, there's a super box. It's it's new construction. I can open it up for you, but I don't have a lot of time because I've got an appointment." I say, "Oh yeah, that'd be great." So I open up the house, unlock it, say, "Listen, you guys just go look through this house. If you love it and you want to buy it, you got to text me in the next couple hours because this neighborhood's selling like crazy." 2 hours later, "We love it. We'll take it. Where do we sign?" "Okay, I guess I'll write you an offer." Yeah, they're under contract.
Boom.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
That was literally Saturday.
And without further ado, this is
Without further ado,
Hey.
this is freaking Clay Winder. Okay, let me do a quick intro here. Clay is the owner of not only this whole building, but also Red Sign Team, and everything. He basically owns everything.
No, not everything.
Just kidding.
I wish someday.
No, someday. But Clay is by far one of our top agents here. I think in August he was at 150 deals so far this year to date or something. Where are you at?
Yeah.
He looks at me like, like what? No, guys, this is the real deal. Clay has multiple deals with multiple different builders that he's working on building landing pages for. He's just running everything. He's constantly running around. He's taking some time to come teach you, and he's a big deal. So give it up for Clay.
I'm not a big deal, but thanks. Good. We got a good turnout today. Hi, I'm Clay. What's your name? Sydney. That's right. Sydney. We just met like last week. I'm sorry. I meet too many people and not used to everyone.
Really quick though, just a reminder, I'm going to leave 2 mics back here. The Zoomers will not be able to hear unless you speak into the mic, or Clay, unless you repeat their question. Okay. So
Karen, can you hear me?
here's the clicker for you.
I always forget to use the clicker.
So there's that.
Area,
And-
can you hear me? Beatrice, can you hear me?
Zoomers, remember, just unmute yourself and
Alberto's
just start
talking right now.
if-
Alberto's talking right now, but I can't hear him.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, awesome.
Oh, cool. I got you now.
Oh, okay, cool.
Cool. Is the camera? I'm probably not going to stay in the camera.
That's what you look like right there.
Oh, it is very wide.
And Clay, we're going to have Clay kind of give his
It looks like
bio,
it looks like. Oh yeah.
why real estate, how you got started, how you got here.
Oh, yeah, we'll have some fun. We'll have some fun. It looks like the room's empty based on the camera because everybody's sitting in the back. But there's actually 77 people in this room. So Zoomers, you're missing out. Yeah. Kay, does everybody have a book, first of all? Kelly, have you taken Ignite before? No. Awesome. You're going to just... So who said no? So you came to class without your book. Okay, way to start off your career. Who else doesn't have a book? You're going to share then, right? Oh, he's got his. Sydney, you have yours? Oh, yeah, you got yours. Okay, so I'll tell you a couple of quick things. I do use the book. We're going to skip a lot, but also we're still going to follow. But one of the coolest things about Keller Williams is honestly the education. So you got to understand the philosophy of Keller Williams just real quick before we even dive into class. And that is, you've got this guy named Gary Keller. Gary is his quickly, when I first got into real estate, became one of my favorite mentors, but the dude is a nerd, like to a T. And the guy is just like, he's an educator, he's a coach, he's a trainer, and he kind of built this company, and he'll even say it for years and years and years. He's always said, we're really just a training and consulting company that happens to be in real estate. Like that's been like the bedrock. And when I was a new agent and interviewing all the different brokerages, you know, there was a lot that had different things, but that was like the main thing that as a brand new agent coming out of UVU, it's like, oh, like this KW company is all about training, and like that test and the 120 hours taught me nothing about how to run a business. It taught me like that there's 42,000 square feet in a, you know, an acre and meets and bounds, but like I did not learn how to run a business. And when I came to KW, they said, listen, it's not about you being an agent at Keller Williams. It's about you being a business owner at Keller Williams. And we want to teach you that. And like, I like light bulb when I thought, that's what I want. I want to be a business owner. I'm excited about investing. I'm excited about like me being in control of my business, not just, oh, I'm just an agent, you know, that happens to open doors, you know, something like that. If you want to be a door opener, this is probably not the place for you. We're going to teach you how to be a business owner, because that's what they taught me. And that's what, honestly, I credit a lot of my success to not recreating the will, but just taking the Red Bible. What's the Red Bible? The MREA, Millionaire Real Estate Agent, and just applying it. And if you look at that book, who's read it? Have you guys read it yet? You're all pretty new. Awesome. So when you read that book, what is it? Gary just went out in like 2003, 2004, whenever it was written, and he just interviewed everybody. And still to this day, Gary does like a dozen interviews a week. If you guys log into your command, you'll see he calls it Life now. It used to be Agent Mountain. He just interviews agents, and he's a really good interviewer. His podcasts are great, even though it's not on podcasts. It's always in the command thing. Yeah, he's got his podcast that he's got. It's people interviewing him, which is interesting. But then his Life, if you guys log into command, I think it's called Life, right? LYFE. Something like that, Life by Design or something. I can't remember. I'm sure it does. He's the king of acronyms. Like, look at this. More Club, like everything's acronyms around here. But he just interviews agents, and then he essentially said, look, you don't need to go recreate the will. I will recreate it for you by just interviewing what works, what are the best practices. So he creates this red book, right? All of the training we do and a lot of Ignite is just diving deeper than what the book goes into, right? It really peels it back and answers the question of like the how and the what, you know? Now, that being said, Ignite session 1, we're not gonna dive too deep into that stuff. We actually talk a lot about the why and kind of what are we doing here? What are we trying to accomplish? So open up your books. I told you I am gonna stick to the book, but we'll skip around. We'll go down plenty of bunny trails. I want everyone to turn to page, I hope it's the same as mine, page 7. And you guys have pens. Do you have got a pen? You guys got pens? Because we're gonna write in this book. You're gonna take notes in it. You're gonna write all over it. Is your page 7 the same as, let's just hope that it happened. Yes. Oh, you got the instructor's manual. Dude, if you don't answer every question today perfectly, it's on you. No, so let's just start off with these. I really actually like these because Gary, in most of his books and in most of his trainings, he does start with mindset is kind of the first spot. So let's jump into it. I want you guys to write these down, real brief questions, especially you, Callie. Have you achieved your financial goals through your career so far? Have you done it? And most importantly, why not? If you're a no, why not? What stopped you so far? Is it opportunity? Is it got a ceiling on you? No goals? Okay, write it down. Okay, this next question is a funny one, and I like it. What is one thing that makes one real estate agent more successful than others? There's probably a lot of things out there, but what's one that you think is probably the biggest difference? Write it down, cheater. Okay, well, you don't answer till they've at least written down their answers. That's true. You better not write in your book. Just take notes on like a paper or something. Okay, so what is it? Let's hear some. I want to actually hear some answers. What is it? What makes one realtor better than another?
I put listening to your content.
Okay, so consulting, listening, question-based consulting, listening. Okay, awesome. What else? Mindset. Awesome. You definitely have to be determined. I probably wouldn't go as far as saying a shark. We've got some really nice, amazing people here that are great realtors, and I wouldn't call them a shark. But they are determined. There's no question about that. What else?
Discipline.
Discipline on what?
Discipline.
You've seen it. You've been around the business a long time.
Yeah, you're your own business person. No one's going to babysit you. No one's going to, you have to get up, get to work hard all day long to be successful. And a lot of people just, other things always can get in the way. Life can always get in the way of your business because no one is forcing you to be here.
Absolutely. Yeah, you don't have a boss. Well, you do. It's you, or it's your family, or it's the bill collectors, right? So let's just have a little aha moment. Who got into this business because they really love houses? It's okay. Raise your hand. You like houses. You like interior design. Yeah, right. You got like 1,000 Pinterest boards going on, right?
No, but I like looking at different houses. Yeah, it's fun.
Who got into this business because they like relationships with people? So here's the big news. The real estate business isn't nearly as much about how it is, and it's way more about relationships. And that's kind of the point of this whole thing. The biggest difference, and all of these things are a good point, but the biggest difference and the number one answer that you've got in the instructor's manual is between realtors is the ability to lead generate, is to go focus on those relationships and get clients. It doesn't matter how good you are at interior design or construction or whatnot. If you don't have any clients to work with, you make no money. Right? So lead generation is the big aha. And there's a lot of realtors that I meet that say, boy, I was watching HGTV and it just looks so fun. Like they have all the, like the design elements and all of that. And, but here I'm in real estate and I'm not making any money. And it's because they forget that you're first a lead generator. And that might get a little of you guys, and it certainly got me nervous as a 21-year-old baby getting into real estate. Like, wait, I have to talk to people? Like, I have to prospect? So why don't we do that? Why don't realtors want to lead generate? Let's just address it. It's the next question on your book. Why don't some realtors lead generate?
Because it takes you out of your comfort zone.
It's uncomfortable. I'm going to try to repeat your questions too for the Zoomers. You don't want to bother people. You don't want to be that family member that's trying to sell you something. Yeah, what else? Why don't you want to lead generate? Maybe not you. Why don't other people want to lead generate? Zoomers, you can shout out too. We should be able to hear you. Oh, somebody is talking. We cannot hear you. Sorry, Zoomers, you're just going to have to watch, I guess, until we can. I know, I heard Alberto before. Will somebody just text Josh and say, we can't hear our Zoomers? If you've got Josh's number. Will you text, yeah, Cal, will you do that? Because I do want you guys on Zoom to be able to participate because it looks like we've got a bunch of you. And we can see, Alberto, we know you're talking because your screen's green, but we can't hear you. So we'll see if Josh can come down and figure it out. So let's put a bow on this. Why don't people lead generate? I think laziness could be an element, but I think a little bit before is the fear, right? It's uncomfortable, like Callie said. And we've got to address that like right now, first session that you are in the lead generation business, and you have to have the guts to actually go like talk to people. And like even Saturday, and it's easier for me now, I've been in it for a while, but I'll acknowledge like when you're first in any sales job, and those of you that have done no sales at all, it's like, oh, do I really want to be that person in my family that has to like ask for business? I don't, or do I really want to stop? I see that couple looking in the window. Do I really even want to talk to them? Like, what if they think I'm weird? Or, what if I say the wrong thing? What if I don't know enough about the house? And they just think, who is this, new loser, whatever, you got to always get over that fear, right? But you got to do it. So this last question, and this is the rhetorical one, and this is such a Gary Keller question. It's simply, is your desire to succeed more powerful than your fear from doing that one thing that will make you successful. And that one thing is talking to people. Is your desire for success more powerful than your fear? You're going to ask that every day for the rest of your career in real estate. Got it? Ahas, comments, thoughts? Yeah. That's a great question because you're going to need a copy of this book. Yeah, if you don't mind, if you haven't received one already, do you have your license? By the way, what's your name? Rich. Cool. So if you've got your license, Sid should have you a book. Every once in a while, we have people auditing the class that just are waiting for the division to send their license. And you might not have a book, but let's get you a book. We'll get it going. And I guess I can use this too. This is what we're doing right now. Okay, so you're in the business, page 8. Page 8, you're in the business of lead generation, the business of real estate. So we just talked about that. So you guys ever see these things over on the wall? Those 6 things? These are called the 6 personal perspectives. So back to Gary Keller and his journey, right? He's interviewing all these agents, and he's diving into their business models, their organizational model, their lead gen model, their economic model, all the models the book talks about. But first he's realizing that there are like these traits, these personality traits and attitudes and mindsets that these top agents have. Mindset, attitude, and approach to life. And he essentially formulated what we call the 6 personal perspectives. And this class starts with this. You will revisit these 6 personal perspectives all the time. Because, and you've already read them. If you guys have read any business books or self-help books or whatnot, you'll see elements of these 6 personal perspectives. I'm going to go fairly quickly through them, but know that we actually teach an all-day class that like dives into each one. But it is important that we at least understand them. Dang, I wish I could remember all your names. I'm going to do a lot of pointing today. And when I point to you, just remind me your name if we have to. So number 1, and you guys can totally cheat if you've got Superman eyes and can read that far. It's also in the book. Will you read self-mastery? In the gray box. Number 1, commit to self-mastery. What is it? This is page 10.
The possession of great knowledge, skills, and habits that make you the master of you. Do you want me to read the points?
No, I think that's good. So what does that mean to you? Like how would you describe that in like to a child? What is self-mastery? What is it?
It's taking the things that you know and putting them into practice.
Yeah, and it's perfect. It's putting them into practice and perfecting it, right? And it's interesting because over there it talks about self-mastery and mastery. It's like, well, what's the difference between mastery and self-mastery? And for a long time, even teaching this class, I was like, I don't know, mastery is mastery. But then I realized, no, mastery is mastering just, a talent. Self-mastery is really mastering like you, like yourself, right? And it's that self-discipline that Sheila talked about. But I think also the best example I always give of mastery and committing to it is the classic example. I'm watching that Michael Jordan documentary, The Last Dance. If you guys haven't seen it, it's pretty interesting. But here's the thing. I know how to shoot a free throw, right? I know how to do it, what to do, all that. But what's the difference between me and Michael Jordan? I know how to do it. He knows how to do it. But what's the difference? It's mastery, right? It's practice. It's if you've read Outliers, the book, it talks about 10,000 hours. Like his science that Malcolm Gladwell talked about was roughly about 10,000 hours of true focus on one thing makes you a master of it. He uses the Beatles as an example and athletes and all that stuff. Outliers, Malcolm Gladwell, great book. But it's mastery, right? That's the difference between Michael and Jordan. We both know how, but he's going to hit it all the time. I'll rarely get it right because he's got mastery. So commit to it, right? You're starting a new career. There's a lot to learn here. Commit to that mastery, but commit to self-mastery, which is that discipline to really master these talents, right?
It almost seems like you can't get mastery until you have self-mastery first.
I'm so glad you said that because that is kind of the difference in my mind too, is self-mastery is the discipline of yourself, right? It's the possession of great knowledge, skills, and habits. It's stuff like that. Habits, that create the mastery that you have. So self-mastery is like the ability to master things. Totally. And you'll see that in this business all the time when you come to trainings, who's in trainings, who's not, you know, who's working on that stuff. And we'll talk about that here in just a second on another one. Number 2, let's pick on you, 80-20 principle. What is it? What does that mean? 80-20. Explain it to the group. In fact, let's pass a microphone around so Zoomers can hear. Who's got it? So 80-20. Have you guys heard this principle before? Pareto principle?
Yeah.
Did anyone go to Pareto school, by the way? There's a real estate school called Pareto. Pareto's that Greek philosopher, right? He's known for nothing other than this silly little principle. That's why it's called the Pareto principle. Maybe he's known for other stuff, but I've never heard of him. 80-20. So what does it mean?
Well, it's saying 20% of your actions lead to 80% of your results. So 20% of the things you do lead to 80% of the things that you get, essentially. Or 80% of the things you get out of what you're doing.
Perfect, right? So this is your activity. This is your results. It's saying 20% of what you do in the day yields 80% of your results. Whereas 80% of what you do during the day only yields 20% of your results. And this is a fascinating principle because you can apply it in other things. Hear this, about 20% of the realtors here in Utah County close 80% of the transactions in the county, right? You guys have seen this before. But this principle, I talk about and think about this principle almost every day of my career. I get up here in the morning. In fact, last night when I was preparing for my day tomorrow, I have all my to-do list, right? And then, okay, what are the absolute, you know, we prioritize it. What is the 20% activities that are going to yield the biggest result of my day? I had a whole bunch of things. I had some, and I had a whole bunch of lead follow-up, a whole bunch of things. I literally got here early and got all of that done before I came down into this room. But I have a couple of website updates I need to make and a couple of other little things. Did I do that this morning? No, because it's 80%. It's important. It needs to get done, but I need to get the biggest bang for my buck for the day. So constantly, and you'll hear this language around Keller Williams, is you'll talk about to-dos and things to do when they're calendaring. They'll say, well, is that really even 20%? And as you start to get busy, it's like, wow, I just don't have enough time in the day. They're going to say, all right, we need to leverage. You need to hire an assistant. You need to get a tool. Remember, leverage is either a person, a tool, or a system. That's what the Red Book teaches us. That's the 3 things that leverage are. So it's like, hey, I'm just so busy. You're going to come in and consult with somebody, and they're going to say, okay, well, do you need a system? Do you need a tool, like a new tech? Do you need a new website? You know, you need a new phone, get off those stupid Androids and actually get a real phone like an iPhone? Or do you need a person? You need an assistant. Get out of here, Scott, right? And then what you're going to do is that leverage is going to take 80% off your plate so you can spend more time on 20%. What is the 20%? There's a big class at Keller Williams called BOLD, B-O-L-D. What's it stand for again? Scott, you took BOLD. What does B-O-L-D stand for? I told you, Keller Williams has so many stupid acronyms. It's life by design. B-O something life, I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So BOLD comes to town. You guys should all take it. BOLD is awesome. BOLD actually has a little session that says, what are the 5 activities that truly are a realtor's 20%? And I want you guys to have these. Just always have them in your mind, because I reflect a lot like, is this even one of the 5? Every realtor should focus on 5 things that's 20%. Number 1 is lead gen, thank you. Number 2 is lead follow-up. Number 3 is consulting, or in other words, appointments, right? Listing appointments, buyer appointments, it's consulting, right? Number 4 is writing and negotiating contracts. And what is number 5? Number 5 is the most important. It's what you're doing right now. Learning, learning, learning. I'll repeat them. Lead gen, lead follow-up, consultations or appointments, writing, negotiating offers and contracts, and then back in the classroom, Your nose in a book. Get better, get better, get better. Become a mastery. Now, is tinkering with your website in that top 5? No, but is tinkering with your website and your brand and having a great customer experience important? Absolutely. This is all the Pareto principle. That's 80%. Yeah. Oh, I love that question. Bunny trails. The answer is maybe. I want you guys to all adopt the mindset that you are prospecting based, marketing enhanced, right? So a Facebook ad campaign, do I have them? Of course I do. But they are my marketing enhanced, prospecting based. If you guys, here's another thing you'll learn in the Red Book, lead with revenue. This isn't real estate is generally speaking, there's plenty of people to do it and it's risky because it is kind of a riskier business. This isn't the business that you come in, you've already invested a couple of $1,000s to get here. Don't come in and say, well, I'm also gonna invest 50 grand to get all my marketing. Usually the best rule of thumb is to lead with revenue, meaning get your transactions rolling. And then once you have money coming in, you follow the budget model. And we'll dive into that in other classes, but it's in the book where you'll allocate part of every commission check toward marketing. But until you have commission checks, the only way you're gonna go get business is prospecting based. Prospecting is free, just costs you your. Does that make sense? Yeah, those are the 5 things, bunny trail. We understand Pareto principle, 80-20. Okay, what's next? E to P is my favorite. E to P. Let's pick on the new guy. What's your name?
Brett.
Brett, welcome Brett.
Hi.
Do you have a binder?
I have it online.
Got it. I won't pick on you right now then, but maybe later. Will you read us E to P?
Yeah. So high achievers are always looking for the purposeful way. By doing this, they break through the ceiling of their natural behavior.
Okay, so first, what does E stand for? Who's got really good eyesight? Entrepreneurial. So E is entrepreneurial, but not like the definition you just had go through your mind. What Gary's talking about is entrepreneurial essentially means your natural abilities. It's that shooting from the hip. It's winging it. It's that entrepreneurial, spirit of I just want to go, shake things up or just essentially wing it. He's not talking about like go start a business, you're your own boss. He's talking about the other definition of entrepreneurship, right? And then what does the P stand for? Purposeful, right? So if you guys can see that far, this is number 3 we're talking about. It's essentially the law of the lid, right? And the law of the lid is the first law in 21 Irrefutable Laws by John Maxwell, right? We all have these ceilings of achievement where you can only do so much when you're just shooting from the hip. And the only way to have that breakthrough is to get purposeful. And right where there's a little explosion, there's little words like coaching and training and what else? Coaching, consulting, training, the fundamental ceiling of achievement, right? And the E, you hit here, you hit disappointment, resignation, greener pastures. You just keep bouncing off the ceiling. You need to have that breakthrough. Well, that purposeful is getting learning based. It's mastery. It's being purposeful about doing things. And the reason I love this is because we all have it. We all have these little ceilings. And there's some very significant ones, even in my career, where I did have to get purposeful. And one of them was when it comes to that leverage piece. I got pretty good at being a realtor. I was hustling, I was doing things, but I found I could only do so much in a year with my own efforts. I had to hire that assistant. And I went through multiple assistants. I kept hiring cute college girls that I thought were great, but they weren't. And it really got frustrating because I just wasn't having like that breakthrough until I decided, okay, I need to get purposeful. And I went and I took training and I got classes, and the classes were just on how to hire people. I wanted to sell houses. I didn't realize that this business eventually would become how do you hire and manage people, right? But then I got books, I got purposeful. I took a class like 3 times to do it. And then it got me to the point where, okay, I could actually hire somebody that was an or that understood what we were trying to create and what we were trying to do and had a little bit more vision. And that person was the person that allowed me to just have an explosive year. And I had 100% increase on business the next year with that person. And it like changed my life forever. And I realized like, wow, like that is a perfect example of E to P. Like I had to get purposeful. Otherwise you just keep hitting that ceiling. And what's frustrating in real estate too, is you'll look around when you're meeting people, some people, their E is really high. You'll meet people in this business that are like the popular kid in high school. And you just hate those guys, right? But they do a lot of real estate because they talk to people, they're popular, they don't have as much fear as the rest of us. And so they just naturally can do a lot of real estate. But then you'll meet other people that are a little more introverted, that they really have to get out of their comfort zone, you know, to talk to people. So their E in terms of just natural ability to stir up business might be quite low. But if they get purposeful, they build dynamite businesses too. And it's really funny. If you ever want to meet like a good example of this, go meet Dan Kennedy. He's one of the most reserved people you'll ever meet. In fact, I think he teaches Ignite classes once in a while. But he talks about it too. Like he is an introvert, he's a shy guy, he's a great guy. But he's not the kind of guy that like will naturally just like start talking in a party. Like he's the guy that sits in the corner, right? But his business is through the roof. Go look at our numbers. Like his numbers are way up there, but he is very purposeful about stepping into that uncomfort zone. Questions on E to P? Told you I'd go fast and now I'm getting chatty. Number 4, let's pick on, have we already picked on you, Sydney? All right, will you read number 4? Learning based.
Okay. A learning-based individual is an individual who has made the decision to use effective learning as the foundation piece for their action plan to develop their life.
It's pretty self-explanatory, right? But here's the thing. Out of all of these principles, this is the one that like drives me bonkers in real estate. So many realtors have egos. You're going to run into them all the time. I see Scott nodding his head back there. It gets frustrating when you're like trying to do a deal with an agent and they'll make like a simple mistake or whatnot. And instead of just like owning like, oh, my bad or whatever, and like they'll say, oh no, this is just the way it's supposed to be done. This is how you fill it out. And it's like, oh, I can't even count how many times I've heard, oh, I've been in this business 16 years and this is how it's done. It's like, dude, you filled out the purchase contract wrong. Like, you know, so it's frustrating. Learning based is like critical. And I would challenge all of you guys, like stay learning based forever, right? Always be learning. And I'll tell you what, with the shifts that we're having in our industry, if you're not, you will be forgotten. We have 3 shifts happening in real estate right now. We have a market shift, a product shift. Single family homes in suburbia is dying. We know that. And it's the era of high density condos and townhomes. We have the technology shift, right? You guys all feel that. People demand a customer experience a lot better than just like an email and a fax, right? And then the third one is the agent value proposition shift. If you're not constantly learning, one of those shifts will leave you in the dust. And this industry, they're always talking about it, right? The realtor will be obsolete someday. Well, absolutely. If they're not willing to learn, they will be obsolete someday. You've got to shift with these things. Stay learning based. That's all I'm going to say on that. Number 5, Callie, can we pick on you? Limiting beliefs. Remove your limiting beliefs. It's not working. Doesn't like you. Remember that tech shift we were talking about? Kelly's getting left away.
Hello.
You got it.
Remove your limiting beliefs.
Yeah, what is it?
High achievers remove beliefs from their thinking that hold them back.
All right, will you be vulnerable? What's that little drunk monkey voice said in your head as you become a realtor? It's all right, I'll just repeat it.
I'll tell you.
I'm serious, we've all got it. And you guys all know that little voice in your head, right, that wants to say, stay in the box.
Yeah.
What is it telling you when you...
Not a natural at this. You've never
not a natural at this.
You weren't like 5 and said, I want to grow up to be a realtor. You know?
You weren't, okay.
I don't know if anyone said that when they were 5. But you know what
No, trust me, none of us as 5-year-olds said, I want to be a realtor when I grow up.
Yeah, so I think that's it. Like, I don't know how to do this. This is not
I don't know how to do it. It's not natural. What else? Be vulnerable. What's in your head?
One of my limiting beliefs is that I'm gonna mess up with people's money. It's a lot of money that people are putting forward, and it's their livelihood, and that kind of freaks me out. But
He's saying he's worried he's gonna mess up people's money, and this is a lot of money, and this is their livelihood.
if I can do it right, and I can, then it's putting them in a better spot, and it's making them happier.
Well, and that's and say that last sentence again though. But if I can, because that's what we're talking about, right? We want to remove that limiting belief and replace it with unlimiting beliefs, right?
Yeah, allowing myself to do it properly, and assisting someone to get into the property that they want, or investment, or whatever it might be, that will change their life for the better and helps them go that much farther.
Totally. What else? What else is that drunk monkey saying in your head? Grab the mic. We got a lot of Zoomers on.
I don't remember if I don't remember the exact number, but it seems like I'd heard that 80% that go into this business fail. And I can't remember if that was the right number.
It's higher than that. It's in the 80s, but it's 80 something percent of new licensees don't renew at their 2-year mark. So you have to renew every 2 years. So it's 80 something percent don't renew at their 2-year mark.
Okay. Yeah. So that number, I mean, I've had that going through my head many times, and I think, am I going to be one of those? So.
I'm so glad you addressed it, because that's the honest truth. It's based on that. It's saying 8 out of 10 of us here in this room won't be here in 2 years. Kind of disappointing, right? But what's the truth? What's the unlimiting belief around that? Right? It's up to you at the end of the day. I will tell you this little tidbit of advice, and I don't mean this to depress you by any means, but I really do mean this. Your success your first year in real estate is simply survival. Just survive it. Have an attitude of it's an internship your first year. It really is so tough your first year. But I promise you, if you do the activities necessary, it only gets better and better. It is absolutely a snowball, and you guys know the idea of a snowball. It's totally a snowball if you just stick to it. And that's how most businesses are, right? This isn't rocket science, but real estate especially, because it's 100% commission-based business, and you're really heavy on expenses to begin with too. It is like brutal. So survive your first year. Success your first year is just survive. Just renew that license at your 2-year mark, and I promise everything gets better and you get rich after that. Yeah.
And do you think that's why the fail rate is so high, is because people don't have the patience or they need the funds to keep going?
Yeah. Number one is patience. People are really hard on themselves. I see a lot of people that are they beat themselves up. Then also heart goes out to 30-year-olds making career changes. Right? Like, it's scary, right? You probably had a pretty good gig coming up, but there was something there that you felt like you weren't hitting your full potential. You said, I got to go take over my world. And you made the switch. Anytime I see like parents, especially like that have kids and they're going to like make a career change into a 100% commission-based job like real estate, you have to applaud them and cheer them on, because it's like that's huge. Like, but you can make it, and hopefully you make it quicker and you can get the paychecks coming in before you dry up, but just stick to it. Just stick to it. Yeah.
I was at a good company working in the purchasing department. But I mean, a lot of my time was just spent at my desk, just looking at data. And I don't know, I just got sick of it. Like I like people interaction. And so I just knew I had to make a change, and real estate, I don't know. I just was interested in real estate.
About 2 years ago, we had a guy join our office. His name's Dennis. And what's Dennis's last name? Dennis Davis. Dennis Davis. Dennis Davis joined our office. And how old was Dennis when he joined our office?
How old is he?
He was in his 70s. Yeah. And it wasn't that he like just came out of retirement, but he had a very similar aha of like, like I'm not hitting my life's full potential, and people are going to think I'm crazy starting a brand new, career. But he just said, I don't care. I'm going to do it. That dude is slinging real estate left and right now. He's only 2 years in the business. He's healthy for an old dude too. I don't know. It's like and you're just surrounded. There's inspiring stories from like half this. Like there's so many cool stories like that. So yeah, I'll tell you other limiting beliefs that you're going to have rattling in your head are you're too young, you're too new, there's too many realtors in this business and not enough inventory. What else? Sydney, what's in your head?
Oh,
we got Zoomers talking. Go ahead.
I was going to say my limiting belief is kind of a balance, a life balance, because I can already see how much time I can put into it.
I can't commit enough time to this job. That's a good one. Thank you. Sydney, continue. Here, grab the mic so that someone's talking. You guys got to get good at passing that mic.
Okay. I think for me, since I'm just moved to Utah, my biggest thing is just meeting people.
No SOI.
Yeah.
No SOI.
Yeah.
Who else doesn't have an SOI in Utah? Yeah, no one has credit to even buy a house if they wanted to. Yeah. The point of this whole section is how do you remove those? How do you just power through them, right? Are there solutions are there other ways to prospect in your SOI? Yes. Are there 19-year-olds out there that actually can buy real estate? Some. Do they have parents, friends, family that can buy real estate? Absolutely. Right? Like there's ways to power through these. Make connections. Absolutely. Thoughts or comments? Number
Are you going to tell us how to power through them? Is that what's next?
I don't know how. I mean, here's the thing. You guys all know that we all know, like, you got to find coping mechanisms, because the truth is everybody has Bold calls it the drunk monkey. I don't know what else to call it, but everyone has that voice in your head. And it's the voice in your head that does not want you to get out of your comfort box. It's the safety. It's your natural safety, right? And a lot of times it just starts with your head first, right? And so one of the quickest, fastest ways that really kind of knocks down all limiting beliefs is to go have conversations with strangers. That's the hardest part of that's the hardest thing in like, you ever heard the Jerry Seinfeld joke where he talks about more people are afraid of public speaking than dying? And so he's like, so half the people at a funeral would rather be the guy in the coffin than the guy like giving the sermon or whatever. It's like very true, right? And so I guess that's kind of my biggest tip is jump into that boiling water and go talk to some strangers. Like go knock on some doors, go cold call and just like break the ice, because it makes everything easier after that. And it does put that drunk monkey in check that like, hey, you know what? Real estate isn't an MLM. It's actually really well received when you talk to your family members about real estate. Like you think the drunk monkey wants you to think, oh, you're the MLM person in the family now, like peddling the latest, Tahitian Noni or Zango or I don't know, what's the new MLMs nowadays? I don't even know what they are right now. But whatever they are, like you think you're in that category. But the truth is, when you tell somebody and say, Brett, yo, you may have heard I'm in real estate right now, and I learned real quick it's a word of mouth business, and that's the kind of business I want to build, is just work with people I know. Have you had any conversations with people lately talking about investing in real estate? Because there's some killer deals out there right now. Anyone I should be talking to? Is that weird? Not really, right? Like people love talking about real estate. Yeah.
I think powering through is different for every person. You have to find what you like, what works for you. If you're doing something that you hate, like you might not like this answer, but I'm not going to cold call. That's just not me.
Ask me how many doors I've knocked on. Not very many.
I'm not going to knock doors.
Yeah.
I have a big SOI. I wear the stuff. Like it brings
starts
up
conversations.
You go to the dentist and you're wearing a KW shirt. Like, oh, I can't tell you how many times they see that and that brings it up. Or just another time at the dentist, another dentist recently. just talking, just, hey, what do you do? Well, this is what I do. What do you? And then it just comes up.
Yeah, people love talking about real estate.
For me, it's relationships and talking, just being friends. Not going and necessarily selling myself, but not in a way that's, I sound desperate or pushy, but more just being friends and then strategically bringing it up.
Right. Well, and that speaks to, if you guys have heard of the book Strength Finders, real simple principle in that book, and that is focus on your strengths. If you're really good at door knocking, well, then maybe, yeah, keep door knocking. But if you're really good at just striking up relationships and whatnot, do the things that you're good at. It's a great point. Last one, number 6. Who should we pick on this time? Should we pick on, I don't even know if the Zoomers have books, so I don't know how much to pick on them. Remind me your name, suit coat. Jared, I'm sorry. Jared, will you read just right under be accountable in the, well, what is it?
So it says be accountable. Accountability is first and foremost an attitude and approach to your entire life. And you want.
Yeah, the accountable person says what?
Everything in my life is a result of my choices and actions. I own my life.
Guys, this is huge. We all know people that struggle with this, and we all struggle with this, right? If you guys can see over number 6, I know you can't read that small print, but that's the best infographic of this, and I'll just describe it. That black box says life happens. So something happens. Say, you get in a car wreck, whatever, like something happens, right? There's 2 types of attitudes on this. You can be the victim or you can be the accountable person. And this goes for like everything in life, right? And so there's victim language, and we all know the victim language, right? Victim language, they don't seek reality, fights or flights, blames, personal, so they say things like, that's not the way it is, that's not how I see it. Or they say, if everybody else would just do their job, it's not my fault, right? I was never given a chance. Oh, this doesn't work here. These are my favorite, the resignations, right? It's meant to be, it'll just happen. Who said that before? We've all said that. Oh, if it's meant to be, it'll just happen. Oh, if it's out of my hands, it's in God's hands, right? Like there's a lot of that. It's just you're not taking any responsibility. Whereas the accountable person, my favorite is simply my bad, right? They own it, right? Or this is the way, I got this. If it's to be, then it's up to me. Right, Callie? Yeah. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. Right? What are my options? How do I get what I want? What can I do? And that's why I say you see people all the time where they're just victims, right? It's very easy to just pass the blame or to have that victim mentality, but it's a lot harder to actually be that person that just says, how can I change the situation? Can I learn from it? Can I, take responsibility and learn from it? Accountability is huge. You'll learn in the business too. Again, you don't really have a boss. And so you are lacking that accountability that you would have in your W-2 9-to-5 job. And so you've got to figure out how to put that into your career. And it's easy to say, well, I'll just be self-motivated. I challenge you, get some friends. If you say, hey, I'm gonna make X amount of calls this week or whatnot, put money on the line. Like talk to a friend and say, hey, I'll do this, you do this. Let's meet, do lunch on Thursday and see where we're at. Create those accountability situations so you can have that in your life. Does this make sense to you guys? You guys get it, right? The victim's accountable. You're gonna be surrounded by it. Now that we're talking about it, you'll recognize it more and more, especially little kids. They're all little victims. Just want to kick them. Just kidding. You can tell I have a 3-year-old, right? All right, any questions about the 6 personal perspectives? Who can roll them all off without cheating? We just spent 40 minutes on them. What are they? What's number 1? Michael Jordan, self-mastery. What's number 2? 80-20, Pareto principle. What's number 3? E to P, being purposeful. What's number 4? Learning base, big egos, right? Exactly. What's number 5? Shoot that drunk monkey. Remove your limiting beliefs. And what's the last one? Be an accountable person. Own it. Own your life. Okay, everyone stand up. Stand up. Can't give high fives because of COVID. We're going to give 5 elbow bumps. 5 elbow bumps. We're shifting the class. Elbow bump your neighbor. Get to know them. Zoomers. Alberto, you still hear everything okay?
Yes, I'm here. I'm
Awesome.
having a book and everything. So yeah.
Hey, we can hear you now too, by the way. So this is really good. This is really good. Okay, so turn to page, well, let's just see here. I guess I better go over this because this is first Ignite. Ignite is very interesting. You're going to be taught by a lot of different agents, different skill sets, different backgrounds. Some of them will not stick to the book. Hopefully a lot of them do, because the book really does teach some great principles. Ground rules at Ignite. If you got to take a call, whatever, go do it. You guys get that. I'm a very casual teacher. You got to pee, go pee. Like, I don't really care. Just don't distract people. I love your participation. I don't think we need to go over any other ground rules. Okay, so we're going to talk about 4 skill sets, and then we'll be done today. But this will take a while to plow through these. There are 4 skill sets that every realtor has. Now, again, let's just take 1,000-foot level. You guys, Ignite is going to dive into how to do an open house, how to show homes, how to write offers, all do those things. A is just the big, like, what's being a realtor all about, right? So we just talked about our mindset, our attitudes, our approach of life our approach to life with those 6 personal perspectives. Now let's kind of talk about like the 4 skills that every good realtor really has going on in their business. And again, we're just kind of still taking that 1,000-foot level, and then literally next session, Wednesday, you dive into your database as your business, right? That gets a little more nuts and bolts. So today, like, feel free to ask those questions on like the overall life of just being a realtor and all that good stuff. So skill set number 1, and if you've read the Red Book, and if you know Gary, he always starts with, what is your big why? Like, why are you doing it? Why are you doing real estate? What's your monetary goals? You know, he starts off with questions here on page 19 is where I'm at. What stirs your soul? Why are you in this business? What do you hope to achieve for yourself and this family? To answer these questions are the basis for your big why, and to fuel that big why will take money and income goal. To achieve success, you need motivation and inspiration for doing it. In other words, your big why. This is the why are you going to get out of bed and go to work every day, right? Again, you don't have a boss. Yes, you need to pay the bills, and maybe that is your big why. You just got to pay the bills, right? But we need to address it. We need to address it. So turn to page 20. Your big future. Now, it has a little activity in here. We can kind of have fun with this. You don't have to write it down unless you want to, but write down the date 12 months from now. Just imagine this. I teach another class called Win with Sellers. I literally make everyone close their eyes, but I'm not going to do that right now. But imagine a year from now, your business is thriving and your life is everything you've dreamed of. Imagine your customers rave about the experience and value you provide them and think of you when they have real estate needs. Your family and friends are proud of your success and consistently referring business to you. You are helping others live their dream of owning a home because you are focused on helping them get what they desire. This is the fun one, couple down. You are the top agent in your market center or the rookie of the year if you are new. I will tell you right now, the rookie of the year is the most coveted award every single year. Nobody cares about the big dogs. It's all about the rookie of the year. And then finally, you are on the path to build a career worth having, a business worth owning, and a life worth living. Is it possible to make that vision come true? Of course it is. I know this is kind of corny and kind of cheesy, but I really do want you guys to realize that it absolutely is possible. Our rookies of the year, it's funny. So I was rookie of the year in 2007. I got into real estate, and I don't share that to brag. When I tell you the numbers, you're going to laugh at me. But in 2007, I'm at UVU 2006. take the classes at UVU, and I find out, hey, they actually satisfy the classes to get your real estate license. So I'm 21 years old. It's December of 2006, and I decide real estate's actually kind of cool, and laying tile really hurts my knees, my hands, and I think I want to like get my real estate license. So I go take the test right between like the Christmas break, right? Take the test. I get licensed January 3rd, 2007. Does anyone know their history lessons of 2007? 2007 is the most fascinating year that humanity has ever had. And that's a quote from, no, I'm serious. There's a book called Thank You for Being Late by Thomas Friedman, who's a Washington Post journalist. And the whole book starts about 2007 potentially will be looked at as one of the crowning years of humanity, because that was the year that cloud computing was invented. Like everything went to the cloud. iPhone came out in 2007, and the idea of like cloud storage and syncing to devices, but before that, it didn't exist. There was no cloud, which you would think that there was. Like it's like integral in everything we do right now, like cloud storage. But he talks about that being key. But 2007 was also the year of the Great Recession began, right? And everything started to collapse. I was getting into the business as a 21 naive person, and by the end of 2007, the world was coming to an end and everybody was getting out of the business. But at the same time, I looked at that as an opportunity for me to get in. Anyway, long story short, I only sold one home my first 6 months in the business. I was making my calls in Ignite, just like this, and got an old college roommate who said, yeah, I need to sell my townhome. So I sold one little townhome my first 6 months, but I stuck to it. I almost got broke. In fact, I'll tell this story too, and that is after 6 months and only selling one house, I think it was like $3,000 after my splits with the office. My parents take me out to the Red Lobster down here by the Vasa off University. And I'm sitting there eating, and my mom looks at me and she says, so how's real estate going? I said, oh, it's going great, right? I'd sold a house in 6 months. And I said, are you making any money? Well, not yet, but I will, you know. And my mom looked at me, and no joke, she said, well, are you ready to get a real job yet? And it like killed me. I'm like, that is exactly what my drunk monkey's telling me too. But I did make that decision where I thought, you know what, like that sucks, and it pissed me off. And I love my mom, but my mom is a pessimistic person in a lot of ways, and I always have to get after about it. But I did have the realization at that moment that I could either give up and go get a real job, or I could stick to it, power through, and go make more money than her husband. And so that second year, house a month, so I ended up selling 7 homes my first year in real estate. But that second half of the year was kind of the culmination of the first 6 months of just sticking to it and powering through. And then my second year in real estate, I did 26 transactions over, to a month essentially. And I made more money than my dad. And you better believe I let my mom know that. And I've made money, I've made more money than my dad every year since then, and I've let my mom know that. But it's you gotta have a chip on your shoulder sometimes. But it was definitely kind of an interesting moment. Anyway, funny intro, yeah.
Starting out, sorry if this is like too big of a question.
No, go for it.
Starting out, how did you, like your first year, how did you go from one house in 6 months to having a house every day?
Awesome, I'm gonna teach you. We're gonna talk about it right after this. Yep, I'm gonna give you that fundamental thing, because I'm a B student, I'm a UVU, like I'm definitely nothing special by any means, and I knew that going into it. Is I wasn't very entrepreneurial, I wasn't that talented, I guess is what I was saying, but I did have drive and commitment, and I wanted to learn. And so when I was interviewing brokerages, most important to me were who's got the models, who's got the systems, because I want plug and play. I don't want to have to go wing it. And so I was so grateful I found Keller Williams, and I came to this class. This class was called Camp 443 at the time. And I got the manual, I got the red book, and I just immersed myself and I applied it. And I went to all the classes and I interviewed all the top agents, and I just applied it. I didn't have to come up with it. And honestly, like, it really does work. Like, there's a lot of millionaires in this office that have made a ton of money in real estate, and they're not that creative. They just actually like apply the principles and models that we're talking about. No, you really don't. One of my favorite models, I'll show you guys, we're going down a lot of bunny trails, but this is good. Where's a marker at? I just had one.
Right next to your can.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You guys will see this in the red book. Talks about the businesses that come and they have a foundation. They have, like, the businesses come in and they'll be creative first. They'll have like that creative, and every once in a while I'll meet igniters. Oh, I have this best idea. Everybody that sells a house, and I don't mean to pick on them, but there was an igniter 6 months ago that said, I've got a revolutionary idea on real estate. Everybody that buys a house with me gets a free trip to Disneyland. I'm like, so a rebate? Yeah, but it's Disneyland. They're gonna buy a house. And they're like, okay, but creativity sprinkled on top with the models is like a wobbly business. Does that make sense? And Gary's talking about, no, you get your models down first, like the fundamental models. There's 4 of them right in the book. Like, you get your business, and this is like, and a lot of these models are the same models every business has. Like, you have an economic model, you have a lead generation model, you have an organizational model. You get these models in place, and then sprinkle your creativeness on top. And that's where, like, I love Britt's comments, right? It's like, hey, he's never going to go knock a door. Same thing with me. I've called very few for sale by owners in my career, because I've chosen, that's the cool thing about this business, is you can focus on the niches and the things you want to focus on. Right now, I'm really focused on new construction. I want to go create the inventory, and it's super fun, right? I don't, you know, you can choose that. But at the end of the day, there are fundamental models that if we were to compare businesses, they better look pretty similar. You better have some foundational models in place, you know, and sprinkle that creativity on top. Otherwise, if you're all creative and no models, you're just all over the place. Does that make sense? And I think that's, I don't know, that's kind of the lesson there. Back in the book. So why are we doing all this though? What's getting you out of bed? What's your big why? And this, I really do want you to grab a pen and just answer these questions. This is on page 21. Just jot them down, and it's going to change for everybody. I promise. The 19-year-old kid has a far different answer than a lot of us older people in here, right? But what is it? What is your driving motivation, the why or the goal for a career in real estate? Why'd you switch? And keep it brief, but why'd you switch? Why'd you get your license? Don't answer that, just write it down. What was your goal for getting into real estate? And if it's money, own that. That's fine. I want to make a bunch of money, great. If it's I want to be my own boss, I don't want someone breathing down my neck, I want flexibility, I want more fulfillment in life, write those things down. Next one, what will achieving that goal mean for you? Say you find that success, what will that mean for you? Zoomers, you can do this too. This is really important. Alberto, Pianjo, well, Pianjo, you've been in this class before, so brush up your notes. Karen, Desk area, why'd you get into real estate? Write it down. What will it do for you? Then this is one of my favorite questions. Question number 3. How will your life change if you achieve this? Like, what changes? What changes in your life? And then this is the really fun question. What doors will open up for you if you find success in real estate? You achieve your goals, what doors will open up? What opportunities will open up? Well, you wrapping up. Can I pick on you, Scott? What's your big why? Why are you hustling in real estate? What's it funding? What's it doing for you?
That's a big question.
It's a very deep question. You okay sharing it? Hand him the microphone. For those of you guys who don't know, Scott's been in the business for a few years now.
Hey.
Yeah, why are you in
Good
this?
morning.
What's
You
your big
know,
why? What gets you out of
there's a
bed?
number of different things, and I think it's healthy to have, just like in your portfolio, to diversify. I have a number of different dreams, right? Being an active member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, I want to take my wife and go on a mission.
Okay.
I also, one of my dreams is I want to buy a plot of land and turn it into a community garden. And people who don't know how to garden, I want to teach them how to do that, because there's a lot of benefit from that. Health, the accountability, being a creator is an incredible place to be. When you view yourself as a creator, I think our vision expands, and doors and opportunities open up that we didn't realize were there before.
Totally.
I also want to, like you, I want to get into development, but I also want to own a couple of small businesses. I want to be able to supply employment opportunities for my family, friends, and loved ones, and
Awesome.
that security. Yeah.
Awesome. Let's keep the train going. Who wants to share? What's your big why? Any volunteers?
Callie would like to share.
Callie, why do you do a career switch at this time in your life?
Because Scott forced me to, just like he's forcing me to talk right now. Scott was the person that told me to get my license. I want to travel.
Okay.
I want to be able to see the
go?
world. I want to go to Europe.
What's number one on your bucket list?
I want to go England, Scotland, France, Switzerland. Do you want me to name every country in Europe?
How much will they cost? How much will that trip cost?
I mean,
for those trips?
all those trips, probably, I don't even know, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
So you need $100,000 budget for your Europe
Yes.
trip, okay?
Yes.
Awesome. I love it. Who else wants to share? These are very real. Can't, yeah. Sorry.
Oh, no, he wanted that.
Tristan's not allowed to talk. Just kidding. To be honest, one of them is money.
I would assume it's money and lifestyle. No wrong answer with lifestyle. Callie's is lifestyle. Like that is.
Yeah,
okay.
some people say that shouldn't be your driving factor. I guess it depends on if you're happy. So for the last 12 years, I flipped homes with my brother. We made a lot of money, but I really wasn't happy. So now I want to make money, be on my own, be my own boss. And that's what makes me happy. So in the end, it's happiness.
I love it. Well, and the truth is, generally it's happiness or fulfillment, right? And lifestyle absolutely does correlate with happiness. And the community gardens and missions can absolutely bring happiness and fulfillment. Like at the end of the day, it's it. But it is good to like define like what is it? What can you like put a picture on your wall? Like do you put that plot of land on your wall? Do you put the pictures of Europe on your wall? That's why I'm getting out of bed, right? And that's the whole purpose of this exercise, is to be able to draw from that big why to get through the parts of this business that aren't fun, right?
I mean, if your only motivation is money and you don't like what you do, I've been there. You're not gonna be happy.
Right. Money's only, what is it? What's the quote? Money is only as good as what it can buy or whatever. It's the same thing, right? A lot of us will say, well, I want $100,000. Well, why? I want $1 million. Well, why? Like, what does that do for you? Like, that's what we're talking about here, right? And that's literally where we're going with this whole conversation, right? Is how much money will you need to fund the big why? And so if it is just a dollar amount and you just want to be able to see the zeros on your phone's bank account, like, no, what does it represent? Go ahead.
I guess one of my whys is just helping people find, the house they want. And then also not necessarily having a lot of money, but just having enough money to have a family and live comfortably, not have to, worry about financial status.
Can I pinpoint the first thing you said? It might sound corny or cliche to say, oh, I'm in this business because I want to help people. But I can assure you, there is like amazing satisfaction when you really do accomplish a really hard transaction or get somebody in the home. I'll never forget my first year in real estate. I had this couple call me, and they called me on a double wide trailer. I'm a kid from West Valley, and I had this trailer listed. And they called me like, hey, we're thinking we want to buy this trailer. Looks good. It was $35,000. And I said, yeah, it's available, but have you been pre-approved? Is there would you want to buy like an actual house? It's a better investment overall. Trailers depreciate, houses appreciate. And they said, oh, we just assume we couldn't. Like, we're both from trailer parks. That's how it is. Well, I got them pre-approved for a home loan. Went out shopping. It's 2007, right? It was later in the year. The market was tanking, and then I found a foreclosure. And I learned about it, and I taught them about it, and they hunkered down, and they bought this foreclosure. And it was like when we walked into the house, I'm talking like poop on the floor, like dirty. Like it was one of those, like, probably, it was nasty, right? And I walked in there thinking, oh my gosh, I'm sorry to even have brought you here. But no joke, the wife came in and looked at it, and she turned to me and she said, could we really like buy a house like this? Because we've only ever been in trailer parks our whole life. And I was like, well, yeah, it's in your budget. Like, that's why I'm here. This is the same monthly payment as the stupid trailer with the park fee. And she was like blown away. And so we wrote the offer, and she got it. And they were like over the moon excited. They were the first ones in their family to get a house instead of a trailer. And I remember thinking, like, no amount of money, and it was a small commission check. My average purchase price my first year in real estate was only $115,000 out of all 7 of those deals. That was the average. So it wasn't about the money, but that struck like a chord with little like 22-year-old Clay of like, wow, like this is fulfilling. Like, that's really cool. Like, I'm just a kid playing real estate, and I just like changed their like family tree in a way. Anyway, I want to validate that is completely okay to like love this business for the sake of loving what you do. Yeah.
Job I worked for the last 3 years, you worked with them.
Yeah.
New
I
construction
know your history
builder.
a bit.
Yeah.
Yep. New construction grunt.
What I was doing, it made me hate myself. It made me hate what I was doing. It didn't make me a happy person. It made me a pretty hateful person, just because there was too much stress bearing down on me, and there was too many angry people involved, and there was just no good part of that job. So I met with a lot of great real estate agents, and I actually had a lot of them actually try to get me away from Keller Williams, go join their brokerages. And they're like, don't go to Keller. They take too much money. That's the worst idea you could do. And I told them, what kind of training programs do you have at your brokerage? I'm like, Keller's a training and consulting business that also happens to be in real estate, like you said. I was like, if I'm going to get into real estate, I'm going to do it right. And I'm going to be, getting the best training that I can, so I can be the best I can be for the clients that pick me.
Awesome. I love it. And we're going to talk about money next and how much Keller Williams actually costs. Hey, I don't want to neglect our Zoomers. Is there anybody on Zoom that would like to share their big why? Why are you in real estate? Going once? Zoomers? Going twice? All right. Anyone else in here burning to share? I don't want to rush this part because this is important. Okay, how are we going to fund it? Turn the page, 23. How much does your big why cost? Now let's just get into some numbers. Let's get into some numbers. Page 23, your monetary goal. So down halfway through the page, I want you to write down how much money do you want to make in the next 12 months. So on September 1st of 2021, it would satisfy your goal to have X amount of dollars. I want a dollar amount. What is going to fund your big why? Am I looking at the right page? Yeah, right here in this box. Yeah, 23, page 23. How much money do you want to make over the next 12 months? We cannot move on unless you have a number in there. And if you don't really have a goal, like I don't know how much it costs to go to Europe or whatever, just and be realistic, shoot for the moon. I don't care. What is that number? What do you want to make in the next 12 months? Let's hear them. Colton, what are you making? What's that? Sorry, Mason. I just talked to a Colton. Mason, 50 grand. Yeah, right. You got to beat him. 60 grand right here. Do we have a 70? Do we have a 70? Do we have a 75?
I'd love to break 100,000 this year.
100K right here. Who's the higher number?
That's what I want to do, but it's just like first year. What's your limiting belief?
Right? $1 gazillion. No, it's totally fine. Who's more than 100? You got more than 100, right? You're making big bank. What are you making over the next year? You want to share? 100 grand. Who thinks they have the lowest amount? It's okay. I want to hear it. Anyone lower than 50? So the highest is 100, lowest is 50. Are we good with that? Okay. So now let's actually break into the numbers. And let's do some math. So turn to page 24. Has anybody kind of dabbled in some of the economic model of a realtor's business? Hopefully you have a little bit when you were like trying to get into it, but we do want to address it right now. So page 24, let's figure out what the average commission check is, and let's play with the numbers. What's our average sales price? $365. Anyone else want to throw a stab out there? You say 400. So the question is I'm way too vague. I said, what's the average sales? Are we talking Utah? Are we talking MLS? Are we talking Utah County? Are we talking Salt Lake County? Da, da, da. At the end of the day, what do you think your average sales price will be, right? So 365, that's pretty close. Utah County is right around there. Salt Lake County is already up to 400. The MLS, the Wasatch Front MLS is like, at least the email that we all get. Well, you guys might not have got it if you're brand new, but the email that we just got last month, I want to say it was like 357, whatever. And that's the Wasatch Front Regional MLS. I think it was the median home price right now, but it's 360, whatever it is. What number do we want to use? Let's use 350 for my numbers. You guys can use whatever number you want, but if you want easy math, let's use 350. Someone pull out your calculator. Actually, before you use the calculator, let me ask this question. What's the average commission rate per transaction? I hear 3%. Anyone else want to have a stab? 2.5, what else? What's that? 0.75? No, we're not talking brokerage yet. We're talking GCI, gross commission income. We're talking the rate that you see on the MLS. For years and years and years, it's always just been, oh, it's 3%, it's 3%, it's 3%. Sadly, it's not 3% anymore. In fact, we track it as an office in 2000, or in what years were it? Like during the recession, I have 2 years in a row where my average was over 3%. How was I getting over 3%? Short sales, baby. I was doing 4% on all my short sales, right? So those really help. But on the flip side, I was taking a lot of 2.5%. But I have 2 years of my career, my average was just a little bit over 3%. Right now, I think if we were to go ask Nova Lee, like what the office stats were, I think it's between 2.5. It's not, we're lower than 2.75. I bet when we have the numbers come out, we're like 2.6-ish, something like that, which is really sad because a lot of that is by our own agents' choices and not by just like blaming the other guys and their BAC. So for the sake of this class, this will be the first time I've taught this class where I'm going to suggest we use 2.5. I taught this class just a few months ago and we used 2.75. But over even the last 60 days, it's been like insane because there's a lot of assault on the BAC. So 2.5 times 350 is what? You guys can write down 2.5 or whatever number you want to use. Yep, so times 350,000 times 0.025. Okay, write that down. 8,000 what? Okay, so this is GCI that's going to be on the table on average for home sales here in Utah County. You know what? Screw you. There we go. Is that better for you, Tristan? Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I am very passionate about this because I haven't been in the business that long. I'm only like not even quite 14 years yet. But I'll tell you, it is weak agents. It's agents go in and they say, hey, we want to do a listing. Say, yeah, we don't want to pay the 6%. We heard a homie, we heard all these. We don't want to pay the 6%, but we'll pay a 5%. And then listing agent says, okay, we'll split that 50-50. So I'm only going to offer 2.5%. You'll never see anything less than a 3% from me. That's because I value good quality buyer's agents, right? So I'm always going to offer 3. If I take a discount, I'm going to take the discount. I'm not going to pass my weakness onto a buyer's agent. But at the end of the day, there's discounters out there. It's easy to sell homes right now. So there's a lot of people that say, yeah, I don't want to pay 3%. I don't value buyer's agents. And to give one little jab, my good friend, who's the UCAR president right now, only puts 2% on all of his listings. And we've had words about it. But at the end of the day, it doesn't mean that buyer's agents aren't worth 3%. It just means that what we're facing is what other countries do. It's still America, is still very much the seller pays the BAC, but it might be one of those where you say, hey, Callie, this house that Steve Baum's selling has a 1% higher closing costs on it because they're only offering 2% on their BAC. So to buy this, you'll have to pick up that other 1%. So your closing costs will be a little bit more if you buy this house. But you've got to decide, do you want to have that conversation or are you just going to take it? What about when you see $1 on some of the homies? They're paying an agent $1. What do? Do you take the dollar? There's a whole class we can talk about it. You send escrow instructions and you ask for higher commission. But we're going to dive into that another day. This is the average. This is the average. Okay, so let's do some math. Page 25 shows us how to break it down. Let's fill it in on page 26. Turn to page 26. I do want everybody to understand this is important. Hopefully you guys have done some basic economics when you were being onboarded to Keller Williams, but let's just recap it right now so that we're all clear on how our money gets chopped up. So in A, write down your goal. What was that goal you wrote? Your annual net goal. Put down your 50, your 60, your 100,000. Okay? B, what is a cap? What is a market center cap? What is it and how much is it? The split is 70-30, but what is the cap? Right, so the cap, so Keller Williams, it's funny, when it first came to town, it was truly a unique model. Now everybody's copied KW because it's a very effective model. And that is, when I first got into real estate, I interviewed RE/MAX, I interviewed Coldwell Banker, and I interviewed a company that's now in a business called All Pro Realtors. And when I went to Coldwell Banker, it was very interesting. I interviewed the broker and they said, yep, we're a 50-50 split. And here's all the stuff you get with that 50. There's no cap. It's just 50-50 on everything. I was like, okay, that's cool. That's a very, we call that the dependent model, right? You get a lot for that 50%, but you're very much, it was an attitude of, you're an agent at Coldwell, you get the brand, and that is what it is. And then I thought, okay, well, who's the opposite of Coldwell Banker? Well, it's probably RE/MAX, right? And RE/MAX said, well, and my uncle was the owner. He was one of the owners of RE/MAX. I went there and he said, well, you're a new agent, so I'll try to negotiate the best I can, but most likely you'll be on like a 60-40 split. And on top of that, though, it's $1,000 a month to be at RE/MAX. In fact, it was a little over. It's like $1,100 a month at RE/MAX. And I know, and that was hard for me because I thought, ooh, I'm new. Regardless of a sale, I'd have a monthly payment of $1,000 or $1,100, whatever it was. But he said, but I think I might be able to actually negotiate because I'm an owner. I might be able to get you to a 70-30, but no cap, right? And so then I met with the disruptors of the time. It was Keller Williams, right? Everyone told me, oh, don't go to Keller Williams. They're a cult. You don't want to go there. They're a cult and they're an MLM. They're a cult and an MLM. I'm not even kidding. All the other brokers, when they said, well, who else are you meeting with? I said, well, I'm going to go meet with this new company because it was kind of newer at the time, Keller Williams. And they said, oh, yeah, they're a cult and it's an MLM. So be careful. Yes, we are a cult, just so you know. It is weird. Just don't drink the red Kool-Aid, right? But they said it's an MLM. I thought, well, that's kind of weird. But I went and met with Keller Williams. And there's a couple of things that they said. They said, first of all, they said, when it comes to splits, everybody's special, but nobody's extra special. There is no negotiating. Everybody has the exact same split, whether you're the owner of the company or you're the new guy brand here, you all have the same split. They also said, we're not held hostage by any superstar, rock star, because they're paying the brokerage more than the new guy, because everyone pays the same. So your value is the same value to this office as Jimmy Rex. I want you to realize that. Your value to the office is the same as Brad Morgan, as Jimmy Rex. These guys that are making millions of dollars, they're splitting with the office the same cap that all of you are. And that allows for a culture of we're not held hostage. If we have some hotshot out there that's going to go leave their baby in the car while they're door knocking, which this is a true story, we will fire you when we hear of stupid stuff happening. Or when you have one top producers, like the #1 top producer in this office years and years and years ago was kind of a dirtbag. And it finally got to a point where he crossed the line on a couple of things with sexual harassment. We kicked him out the same day because we didn't care. His value to he was the top producer in this office, and we kicked him out of this company because he was the same value as everybody else. So culturally, that was like, ooh, that was like cool for me to hear, right? So anyway, I'm going down a bunny trail. Long story short, 18,000, right? We all pay $18,000 to this office unless you join a team. We have a half cap. But first, before I explain the half cap, how's the 18 broken down? 15 of it goes to the local market center. 3,000 of it goes to the region and international. Does that make sense? And so then there's also 2 little splits, and we're always quick to say 70-30, 70-30. It's not. And I hope that you guys are like reading the fine print. It's 70-30 on the 15, but then it's like a little 6% for that 3,000. You guys all break that down before? So it's really like a 64, 36% split. But as both of them cap. You cap the 3,000 to KWRI, and you cap the 15,000 here. Now, we have a half cap. Not all KW market centers have this, but here in Utah, all the market centers do have this, and that is the half cap. They say, hey, if you join a team because you're getting added broker support, you also have a second split because you're on a team, we're going to half the 15. We can't touch international, but we can half the 15, so it goes to 7,500 plus the 3, so that's the 10,500 that Tristan mentioned. So who here is on a team already? Okay, good. So we're all going to do the 18. We're all solo agents. Awesome. So put in there, market center cap, 18,000. And then C, add them together. And then in D, write this number down, 8,750, right? That's our average commission per transaction. And now divide the GCI goal with the average commission to get your deal count. That makes sense? Divide C by D. Yeah, that'll be good. What do you got? 11.2. Okay, what else you guys got? Well, what was your goal amount? 100,000? 80. Okay, 11.2 for 80. What else you got? It's exactly what it means. She's got to sell 11.2 houses. Yep, 11.2 transactions. Who did the $100,000? What was your 50? 7.7?
13. It's 13.5.
For the 100,000?
Yeah.
Awesome. All you Zoomers, you following along too? How many transactions does it take to achieve your goal?
11.2.
Nice. Thank you. So here's my question for everybody. What aha do you have looking at that number? How's that feel? When you look at that number, what is it? Right? Feels good. What was yours again?
Mine was 100,000.
And how many deal count? 13, because you did the 100,000, so 13 deals. Can a new agent, brand new to real estate, sell 13 homes a year? Of course they can. To be Rookie of the Year right now, you've got to knock on the door of 30 transactions your first year, even to be considered as Rookie of the Year, which is nuts. Which is nuts. What other ahas do you have looking at that number? You might say, I already have that many, I have plenty of people to call.
Going to Europe?
Going to Europe, right? Pack your bags, Callie, you're going to Europe. No, this is good. This is very important. This is a very basic economic model. Now, you can obviously take this economic model to a much more effective, point by including taxes, including expenses. Again, read the red book. It talks about the budget model, and so you can kind of break this down to see really what it comes down to. But ultimately, I hope your aha is this is totally doable. Totally doable, right? Questions, comments, or ahas? Zoomers, can you fund your big why? Yeah.
So that total transaction goal is like after
right? We calculated the cap. We added the cap on top. So that's after the cap. It's just not after taxes, right? You're still gonna have taxes. That's why I say this very basic model. But you could easily go in and say, well, if I'm gonna pay another 30 grand in taxes, I better add that to it. Now divide it. Now I've got to sell 16 houses instead to cover taxes. It's a loaded question. I've been bit pretty hard. Yeah.
Your first year is the worst because you haven't paid quarterly taxes. So if you make 100 grand off of not making anything, you're gonna pay a lot. But then the next year, loaded question.
Yeah, it's a loaded question because you can play with tax. You're a business owner now. You need to read books on how to do taxes. You got to, like, this office isn't going to withhold your taxes. You are now 1099 subcontractors. Yeah, hire Mason's dad, right? No, but really, like, you've got to withhold taxes. I would recommend withhold 30%-ish. I've had tax years that are even higher than 30%. I had no kids, no military. I didn't have as many deductions as I thought I would. And then I have other years where I just kill it on I have a baby. I did the solar on the building, which had a huge tax credit. And all of a sudden my tax was like was way lower. Like, so I say it's tough, but ultimately twice in my life, I have like paid off all my debt to then go do taxes. And my accountant says, oh, you owe $20,000 in taxes. And I had only withheld like $6,000. So I had to go refinance my car and take a loan out of my car that I had paid off. And I was so proud just to pay my freaking taxes. And it happens to a lot of realtors. So get that stuff under control. Yes.
I think my other alternative is like just be super specific and make really small, manageable goals. And then, you know.
What do you mean on your budget?
No, on your goals for what you want to make.
Oh, right.
Like, be specific and make it bite-sized goals, so then slowly make that bigger.
Totally, because this whole economic model, you can back it out. I've got a whole spreadsheet that shows it, which breaks it down and says, okay, now I need that many transactions. Based on my conversion rate of appointments, how many appointments do I need? Based on how many conversations to set appointments, how many conversations do I need? So you can back this equation all the way to the point of knowing how many conversations do I need to have a day. It's that simple. This is just an equation, right? And that's really fun to do because then it chunks it down to exactly what you said, where it's like, look, if I just have 10 conversations a day, I'm going to hit my goals or whatever it might be. Okay, questions, ahas. Skill set number 2, page 27. We're nearing the end, guys, because the last 2 we breezed through. I think so, right? These are so delicious, by the way. Yeah, you got one. I saw one over there. Skill set number 2, page 27, lead gen, lead gen, lead gen. So somebody already asked a question. I can't remember how it was phrased. It was something like, well, what do you got to do every day to get the business? That's what we're going to talk about. And I'm going to go straight to the heart of it. Page 29. Turn to page 29. You see the funnel on page 29. This is the sales pipeline in real estate. Hopefully you already understand this. You need leads. Leads lead to appointments. Appointments lead to contracts. Contracts lead to paychecks, right? You got that. So we have this pipeline that we need to fill. So how do we put things into the funnel, the lead generation? How do we start? How do we lead generate without spending a lot of money? There are 4 of them. What I'm about to review with you are 4 things that you will do essentially every day for the rest of your life. And one of the best examples is sitting in the back of the room eating a sandwich right now. These are 4 habits that every realtor masters. If you do these things, you will be a millionaire. If you don't do these things, you will not renew your license in 2 years. Are you ready? Number 1, every single day, you're going to add people to your database. And for this class, you are adding 10. This is called the 410, baby, 410. You can do 4 of these. First thing, you're going to add 10 people to your database. Now, the idea for Ignite is that you will add 10 people until you have at least 200 people in your database. These are 200 people that you can comfortably have the conversation that Brett and I had earlier. You can comfortably say, hey, have you had any conversations with anybody talking about real estate lately? Because there's a lot going on, and I live during their business as a realtor. Now, Sydney, I'm going to pick on you. You're a new SOI in Utah. How are you going to add 10 people a day to your database? Bingo. You're going to tap into that Bromley family. What's your husband's last name? I know he's related to Reed Bromley. I'm dead serious. Like, you are going to tap into your husband's family like they've never been tapped into before, right? At least 200. Why 200, by the way? What's significant about 200? Has anybody read the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book? You guys hear me referencing it all the time, but that's because it's the Bible, right? There's power behind 200. Yeah, for sure. So what's that ratio? You're barking up the right tree. So there's a ratio that when Gary's studying like all the numbers and interviewing on these agents, he found that for every 12 households or 12 contacts or 12 families that you have in your database, that you effectively deliver a 36 touch, which means you are interacting with them 36 times a year, whether it's marketing, prospecting, whatever. For every 12 households, you will receive 2 closed transactions. One will be direct, one will be a referral from somebody in those 12. That's a very real number. And a lot of teams that follow that number, that's like the ultimate goal, is to get as close to that ratio as possible. So for every 12 people, you get 2 deals. So if you have 200 households or people, and it takes years to get there, but if you get to the point where you can get to that ratio, that is 30 deals, 33-ish, right? What's the math on it? It's around 30, 33-ish, whatever it was, transactions. 30 deals a year is like magical in this business. You're not just living a sweet life traveling Europe, you're investing in real estate. You're buying rental properties, you're building a business, right? So and that's 200, that's not that many. How many friends do you have on Facebook, Sydney? Wow, a couple thousand. Imagine if you did a 36 touch to a couple thousand. And can you get referrals to all your people in Arizona? Arizona, that's where you're from, right? Can you get referrals in this business? Tons, right? Yeah.
Speaking of that, I came and signed up with Sid, and Carl's my neighbor.
Sweet.
And Carl bought me a shirt. We took a picture by the white wall, or the wall upstairs, and just posted it on Facebook. He said that I joined the Keller Williams team, my real estate license, or my real estate exam, and all my Facebook friends. Almost everybody. I think it was 250 out of 380 or something.
Okay, you've got 250 in your database.
Yeah.
So you're going to add them, right? And you're going to start that 36 touch and then a whole nother Ignite session on that process. But our goal is to add 10 people till you have a minimum of 200 people in your database. Now, when I say add to your database, what are you adding them to? Command. Literally your CRM. You're adding them to your CRM. Your business is your database. So you want all their contact information added. Number 2, what are we doing? Yeah, Sydney. Yeah. Correct. It's 36 touches a year. And this is where, and that's the model, right? 36 touches is the model. The fun thing is the creativity that we sprinkle on top can be what those touches are, right? Some people do pies and events. Some people are much more, pieces in the mail, little gifts, little this. Sometimes they're seminars, sometimes they're just phone calls. And the reason I pick on Aaron is one of the best in this office of doing the 36 touch. Every morning, you'll catch him upstairs pacing, talking on the phone, and his classic line is, hey, it's Aaron, or what do you say, your real estate friend Aaron? Every call, hey, it's your real estate friend Aaron. That is his signature line. It's your real estate friend Aaron, just calling to check in on you. That literally is your script, right? I'm just calling to check in on you. How many calls do you make a day? 20. The standard is 10. But you want to be a baller, you do more than 10. You do more than 10. But there's also an argument to be made is once you have your database and you're trying to have a conversation about every 90 days, that's kind of the general rule of thumb. Usually if you go on vacations or you don't want to work every single day, you got to do more 10 a day to hit your whole database within the 90 days. That's why he's doing 20. Yep. So you're going to call 10 people. What's your script? Whatever script you want. Now there's another section and we're going to breeze through it, but it talks about scripts, and there's scripts and examples in here. For newbies, promise you the easiest and best script really is the welcome script of just, hey, Sydney, it's Clay. You may have heard I'm in real estate right now, and I'm taking this class tonight, and a really cool instructor named Clay told me that this is a word-of-mouth business. And being a word-of-mouth business gets me excited. So I'm actually just calling you to ask you if you know anybody that's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. Have you had any conversations? Anybody graduate, that's going off to college that might want a little condo around the university or anything? Can you think of anybody? No, you can't. Will you do me a favor? Will you commit to calling me anytime you have a conversation about real estate where there might be an opportunity for me to earn some business? Would you do that for me? Oh, awesome. You're so cool. Thank you for doing that. That means a lot. It really does. I'll take good care of them, I promise, because I'm excited to build this word-of-mouth business. Peace out. Have a nice life. Bye. Now, you can tailor that script however you want, but I am one that I love that little commitment pattern, right? Will you commit to calling me when you have a conversation? Because then that sets me up for the next one. Guys, I really did do this my first year in real estate for months and months and months, and that's how I got my 6 deals on the second half. You hang up from that call, and you pull out a thank you card, and you say, Sydney, thank you so much for committing to calling me when you have a conversation with somebody about real estate. It means the world to me that you'd help me build my word-of-mouth business. On the fact that it's a word-of-mouth business, say it. People are totally cool with it, right? Thank you so much, Clay. Lick it, seal it, send it. You guys are gonna be writing massive amounts of thank you cards. Do we still have KW cards that you can buy at the front desk? Buy a big stack of cards from the front desk, has a big KW on it. Go to, Walmart, buy some thank you cards, whatever. 10 calls, 10 thank yous a day. This process will take you a couple of hours every day, and this starts today. Today. I expect you guys on Wednesday to have made 20 calls and written 20 thank you cards. Raise your hand to the square. I'm serious. Get your hands up. I commit to the 10-4. Say it.
I commit to the 10-4.
Okay, number 4. What is number 4? No, this is 10 notes. We already got notes on here. 10 thank you notes. You cheater. It's not feet in the door. Let's get real clear. It's preview 10 houses a day. Now, can you physically go walk through 10 houses a day? This is what I want to talk about. That's very difficult to do. That is hours and hours if you go walk through 10 homes, unless they're all in a cluster. So here's how I want this done. Every day I want you reviewing at least 10 homes on the MLS. And when I mean reviewing, I mean like review it, like become an expert. And the way you're gonna start this is you're gonna pick your niche. Everyone needs to pick a niche right now. What market do you want to master? Now, the default answer for most people is where do you currently live, especially if you're already a homeowner. You master your neighborhood, right? Like, I know every home for sale in my neighborhood, and how powerful do you think that is when I'm out shooting the breeze with my neighbors that are walking their dog that say, what gives with the Brett Wild sign around the corner? This is a true story. Brett had a sign right around the corner from my house, and everyone said, what's going on with that house? And I could have been that realtor that's like, I have no idea. It's 6 doors from me and I have no idea what's going on with it. Do you think that's the kind of realtor I want to be? No. I said, no, they had it listed for $330 and they got an offer within 72 hours. They probably got multiple offers, and we'll find out what it closed at, but it probably sold for more than $330. You want to sell your house? Whatever. But how powerful is it? Yeah, of course I know what's going on with that one, right? Now, how do I do that? And how do you do this? On the MLS, you will set up alerts to yourself. I review, no joke, like a dozen alerts a day. Every multifamily in Utah, I know about. Any duplex from here to Ogden, I want to know about. Any apartment building, I want to know about. Any lot listing, like just a spec lot, I review it because I'm focused on new construction right now. Of course, I have my neighborhood. And then I have a couple of other little pockets that I've really kind of dominated. I review those every single day. And it's powerful. Somebody in my neighborhood can say, hey, what can I sell my townhome for? Do I need to actually go back to the office and do a CMA? No, I can tell you about the last 4 sales in the neighborhood, what they sold for, how many concessions they had, and I can have that conversation right on the spot because I review it. I'm not that smart. I just read the dang alerts every morning when they come to my email. So that's your homework assignment. Every day, you're going to review 10 homes a day digitally. Now, there's an asterisk to this. Every week, Your butt needs to walk 10 homes physically every week, 10 homes. Now there's 2 suggestions that I would make. Number 1, feel free to go tour your niche houses, right? Go tour your neighbor's house. If they're gonna put up their house for sale, go tour it. Even if you're by yourself, go tour it. But the other really, really important one is to go tour model homes. It boggles my mind. Well, I mean, first, you guys understand the nature of the market we're in. We have the shortest inventory we've had, like in my career at least, right? Ever, I would argue, ever, which means more than half of every buyer I sit down with or I'm having a conversation with, the conversation generally goes to new construction. But if you don't know the new construction inventory, you're in trouble. And new construction's not always on the MLS. Usually it's the tip of the iceberg strategy, right? Builder puts a couple of properties on the MLS, but they have a whole community they're selling. Go learn those communities. So my recommendation is go hit model home. Go see every model home in Utah County. And there's probably 50. I mean, gosh, there's like 7 just over here in Vineyard. You got Ivory Homes up here. Don't even get me started with Wander. Wander has like 18 models just in Wander. Go tour them all, learn their inventory. Yeah.
I kind of have a comment about this. So kind of where I live, there's new construction everywhere, you know. Only lived there for 7 years. And
where do you live?
Springville, behind Smith's, kind of by
Yep,
Anthem
right,
West
so you have
Flagship.
Anthem West. Well,
Yeah.
you've got Flagship, you've got Century, you've got 4M Builders, you've got Bach, and hopefully you've been in every single one of their model homes.
Not yet, but that was one thing I was
Know what
going
you're
to
doing this
say
weekend.
is I think it was Century or something like that. But I just wanted to look at the prices and such. And one day I was looking around, I see some people outside. I stopped by and start talking to them, and last week we signed a buyer broker agreement. So
sweet.
Granted, they have to build their credit a little bit, but they're still
So whether it's now or in a year from now, but that's the whole point, right? And for you to see that couple or and go talk to them and be able to say, hey, Century starts in about the 380s. Flagship, you know, also kind of starts about that same price, but I can tell you about those floor plans. Boxall sold out. 4M Builders just landed some more lots. They have more, but they don't have a model home. But they're to be able to talk that way to people and to say, I am the Anthem West like expert. I know what's going on here. It's powerful. People say, oh, dang, okay, well, I know who to call when I want to build my house there in the neighborhood. That's what we're trying to accomplish. You guys see why this is so important. The more you can take the MLS and the inventory and put it into your head, the more valuable you are as a realtor. It's critical, because then you can start to analyze everything, right? It's huge. So this weekend, go tour 10 houses. And again, start with model homes, and it's fun too. I mean, that can kind of check that box of like, I got into real estate because I like houses, right? Totally, go hit open houses. Now, in a perfect world, a truly perfect world, you're easily seeing 10 houses a week because you've got a buyer, you're out shopping, right? Like you're doing that, and you're going to model homes with your friends that are kicking around the idea of buying a new home. That's ultimately. And hopefully after a couple of weeks, you're easily hitting 10 homes a week physically. You'll get to the point when you're like really like going crazy, you'll be doing 10 homes a day because you've got 7 different families you're out showing houses to. So you just are a full-time showing assistant, right? You're just showing homes like crazy. This is the 10-4. You will do this every day till the day you die because you already raised your hand to the square and said you would. Does this make sense? Zoomers, does this make sense? I didn't make you guys raise your hand. You guys all following along. You understand the 10-4.
Yes.
At the very beginning of this class, when we ask what's the difference between like successful agents and agents that don't renew at their 2-year mark, there is a direct connect the dots to this. I have a lot of agents that walk into my office, not too much lately, but there was a while there, I'd get an agent every once in a while, walk in my office, really frustrated. I think I need to get out of this business. I don't have any business. I would ask one question, and it was, well, how many calls did you make this morning? Well, I didn't make any this morning because my kids woke up late. I said, all right, that's fine. How many calls did you make this week? Well, it's been an off week for me. I really haven't. Okay, I think I know why you need to get out of the business. It comes back to this. That's it. There's some like total losers in our office that make a lot of money because they do this. I shouldn't call them losers. No, when I first got in the business though, and you guys are going to do it too, you'll like start to meet people and you're like, dang, if this dude can do it, I can do it. Like, right? You know what I'm talking about. But here's the thing. Before you judge a book by its cover, when you see all these little old ladies up here, these little old ladies kick butt because they make their calls, they're chatty, they do that, they learn the inventory, and they write their dang thank you cards. And they sell houses. I mean, it really comes down to just a few fundamentals. Which, by the way, this industry is still very much led by old women, and it's great. When I first got into real estate, I think they said the average realtor was like a 57-year-old woman. Now I think it's changed a little bit, but women dominate this industry. There's still more women than men, slightly. Great question. I need to go back to your big why. You need to answer that. Part of my big why is a passive income goal, because there is no retirement, right? I mean, I have a 401k because I went and set up a 401k, but at the end of the day, it's a passive income goal. What does retirement look like to you, right? What is that? First of all, I don't believe in retirement, but for the most part, I do believe in like go have fun in life, and to fund that, I would want a passive income goal. So I have that, I have it very structured, and I want to make enough money in real estate to invest enough in real estate to create that passive income goal that I can retire. That's the quick answer to that. Do we understand the 10-4? Have I drilled it in everybody's head well enough? How many calls will you have made by next Wednesday? 20. Good job.
Question.
Yeah.
What do you do for the 10 notes? I mean, can you be a little more specific? Maybe I was in the back.
Yeah. So my 10 thank yous at the beginning in this class, they're really, really easy, because the easiest thing to do is when you pick that script and you're just doing your, hey, I'm in real estate now. Will you refer me business when you have conversations? It'd mean a lot to me, and you hang up the phone. The thank you is just a quick, hey, thanks for referring business to me if you ever have conversations, or thanks to committing to doing that for me, means a lot to me, right? What's hard is after you kind of have your introductory, it does get difficult. I write far fewer thank you cards, but I certainly write a thank you card for every person, even like breathes, hey, I was talking to somebody and I told them about you. No joke. I'm the guy that's like, if somebody just in passing, oh yeah, I was telling my buddy about you, so hopefully you get a phone call. Obviously I say, well, can I call them? I'm like, we'll see what happens. I still write a thank you card because it's Pavlov's dog, right? You've all taken psychology. Remember Pavlov's dog? He rang the bell, gave him a treat. Ring the bell, gave him a treat. Ring the bell, gave him a treat. And later, ring the bell, didn't give him a treat, but the dog was salivating, right? It's a classic cognitive psychology test that he did. It's the same thing. I want people to know every time they give a referral or even mention it, I send a thank you card with a gift card in it, of course, to them. So it's like, oh, dang, like all I did was like mention Clay's name and I just got $20 to Home Depot or Cafe Rio. I've got a whole stack of different cards. And it's like, oh, great. And there's some people I legit give like gift cards. Every couple of months, I'm sending them gift cards, but I am ringing that bell and they're like, it works, right? I want to reward the behavior, regardless of the deal pans out or not, regardless of that, because I want to reward the behavior result.
So you're physically sending something.
Yeah, I've got up on my desk right now. I have a handwritten note. I'm even using like a Sharpie marker now just for fun. Yeah. It is harder though, I don't do 10 a day. And that's what gets tricky is I have a lot more business relationships where I'll just write a little, hey, thank you for, but generally all of mine are based around gratitude. I think that's, I'm not that creative on note writing. So I just try to usually do notes of gratitude. But I have a whole stack of thank you cards in my desk. In fact, just yesterday, I had to go buy more stamps just yesterday because I ran out. Thank you cards are more important too. Like, let's just get specific. Like, these are handwritten notes. I'm not talking about emails or texts. Like, that's all important and stuff, but there is still so much power in a handwritten note because nobody's doing them. I believe in it, yeah.
So, starting out, like if I don't have a lot of people to thank yet, can you do these handwritten notes, just saying, hey, I do real estate,
Yes, so one of the things that, and I think Sid does it still, right when you get in, the announcement letters, the welcome letters, there is like a template that the office has, and it's been modified. It's actually pretty good, real basic. It just says, hey, I just make an announcement. I changed careers. I'm in real estate. I have a license, and I'm open for business. You drop your card, and you send the announcement letter. Write at least a little hand sign or hand, hey, thanks. I look for, do something like that. Get your announcement letter out though. That's huge. That's how I got my first few deals. I did that announcement letter. I did thank you cards and I did my announcement letter right when I got into real estate. Pretty sure the office even pays for the postage, right? Does that sound right, Callie? Yeah, like the office, like that's part of your sign-on package. You write that $300 sign-on or whatever. It's for like stamps and this and that and your business cards to like come out with a bang. Yeah. Yeah, no, seriously, talk to Sid. I just don't know if Sid does it or Josh does it. I don't know. I look at you, Callie, because you're in the staff meetings and I'm not.
We haven't talked about that for a long time, but yeah, Sid would be helpful about it.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing too, is if she's like, if it's a little disorganized from the transition from our PC coach and all of that from a couple of months ago, get the letter, print it, go stamp it, and get reimbursed. Hey, we're not done yet. I'm going long.
I heard my name on Zoom, so I came down.
Oh, well, you want to just answer that question? Yeah. Announcement letters, how do they do it?
So announcement letters, we pay for up to 200 announcement letters to go out for you. And that seems like a lot. So if you want to combine with another agent, that's the way that we get the bulk mailing rate. So once we get the 200, we're going to give you the envelopes, we're going to print it for you, everything. Sydney actually just did hers and they turned out awesome. Like Clay was saying, we have a template and you just kind of plug your information in, tweak it, make it your own, whatever you want to do. And then you send those out, those hard copy letters to your family and friends to let them know you're in real estate. And so we have a couple different templates you can look at, but Sydney's, again, turned out really awesome. She did her last week. Once we get to 100, as long as we have a minimum 200, we can mail those. So, and 200, like I said, that is a lot. So just combine with another agent and then we can send it through the bulk mailing rate and we get a huge discount by doing that. And then we send the postage, we send them off for you, we do everything. So, yeah, but we'd have to wait until we get the 200 total. So like if Sydney has 100 to send and you do too, or someone has 50, pile them on.
This is the chance. I mean,
but if you have a little bit later on, yeah, you get 200 announcement letters. So, and we have had agents who have gotten business from those announcement letters. So that's a great way to reach out and touch your people right now. Another thing that I want to tell you guys about is I sent out a file that has the Ignite material online. Did everyone get that? It was an email that gives you access to the drive that has every single Ignite session on there, the toolkit, and also, what was the other thing? It was the toolkit. Oh, and the script booklet. Correct. It was an email that is in the shared drive that has all that information. So you have a hard copy, and then you have the script book, and you have the toolkit. Hey, you guys, there is such good information in there that please look through there, especially the toolkit. And then also KW Connect. You guys, there's videos about Command. There's videos from Gary Keller. There is everything about how to run your business, anywhere from 30-second videos to 30-minute long videos. There is just a huge resource of information on KW Connect. So if you get a chance, it's just like getting a new app on your phone, get in there, kind of play around, see what's on there. There's a lot of good information, not just for new agents, but for any agent. And so just a lot of good resources on KW Connect as well. But please let me know if you have any questions and we'll get you set up with everything that you need. So yeah, once you have your announcement letter ready, bring it to me and then we'll print those copies for you. No, Josh and I have the templates and so we'll need to send that to you. Yeah, once you're ready.
Oh, I'm not done. We've been too chatty. I know we're supposed to end right now, but I still have two more things we got to talk about. You guys okay with that? Can we go 5 more minutes? We're gonna end. You with
guys, it's not been awesome. I've been listening on Zoom. Clay is awesome.
Well, you guys got me like all over on bunny trails, but it's good. It's good, and I'm glad I can hear that. Hurry and turn to page 35. We're not going to dive into the third skill, but we're going to address one thing. It says use influencing sales language. I want to just address a drunk monkey issue right now. And this is all we're going to say about this. But by raise of hand, genuinely, who hates scripts? Who hates scripts? Raise it high and proud. So why do you hate them?
They're generic.
They're generic? Why do you hate them?
I don't hate them.
Oh, I thought you raised your hand. Why do you hate them?
Personality theft.
Personality theft. Love it. You raise your hand? Go. Sound like a robot. What else? Yeah, you're not. It's unauthentic, right? It's kind of the personality theft is unauthentic. I think we can all agree that like those are valid reasons to hate the term scripts, right? So I want to just address this right now. You're going to hear us talk all the time: scripts and dialogue, scripts and role plays, scripts and this. And every time you hear it, it's very easy for people to say, scripts aren't for me because of all the reasons we just listed. So I want you to do something. Do yourself a favor. Take the word scripts out of your mind and simply replace it with the word answers. Approach scripts as if we're talking about answers and dialogues, answers and role plays, right? So when someone says, hey, we're going to talk about scripts, like who do I call? What do I say when I call my 10 people? Well, there's answers for that, right? There's answers written out in the book of what you might say. And I'm not saying memorize them word for word. There are instructors out there that say memorize them word for word. And they do that for good reasons because some people just can't speak unless they just memorize it word for word. But hopefully you guys would take the challenge to internalize the script or the answer and then make it your own and be able to deliver it. But it's really important. And I'll give you an example. In the next probably 14 days, you will have somebody that will say, why in the world would I hire you when I can hire Homie? Give me an answer. You probably panicked a little bit, right?
Slightly.
So that's the whole point. You guys will all get that. Why don't I just go FSBO? Why don't I use a discounter? Why don't you use ARI? Like the Homie one's a loud one, right? We all have that. I want you guys to get to the point where you have 3, 4 different answers or scripts that you can easily deliver and say, well, let me tell you why. You know, they're a functionary product. It's a DIY. Yeah, you bet. Homie is a DIY, right? Do it yourself, right? So they're a functionary service. They're discounted because they're door openers and they're paper pushers. And that's okay. And that might be the right fit for some people. Working with me is a fiduciary experience, meaning that I represent your interests. I'm knowledgeable in the market and I'm knowledgeable in offer situations where we can strategize ways to actually win in offers or strategize in ways to sell home where we can get multiple offers instead of just one offer. This is 2020. This is the shortest inventory we've ever had. It's not enough to get an offer. Anybody can get an offer on a house. It's about getting multiple offers and administering the science and the magic of having multiple offers to drive a bidding war so that you get top dollar for your house. That's what I do, and that's not what Homie does. So why don't we set up a time where we can sit down and talk about that like fiduciary, awesome Nordstrom's experience where you can sell your home with a Nordstrom's experience instead of yard selling your house. And what do people want when they shop at a yard sale? You want a deal or a discount, right? So do you want to yard sell your home where all the buyers want a deal or a discount? Or do you want a Tiffany's is cooler. Do you want a Tiffany's experience working with me? So let's sit down and talk about how most likely I will net you more money by, even though you're going to pay me more commission than yard selling your house. Let's go talk about that, right? And those are just scripts. And I can just get all that stuff out because I study scripts, right? But I want you guys just to have that approach. That's all I'm going to say on that. Scripts are good because they're answers to hard questions, right? Last thing, turn to page 47. 47. This is the be accountable to your big why or monetary goals. The thing I like about this chapter that we're going to touch on is the calendar. Live by a calendar. Page 51. And we're just going to deviate from the book for a second and just have a conversation. Can you guys see this okay? Zoomers, can you see this all right?
Yes.
Cool. So this is, I know, I'm trying to, yeah, it's not letting me zoom in. So being accountable essentially is time management, right? This is that 4th skill that we're talking about. Remember, number 1 is know your big why. Number 2 is the lead gen. Number 3 is open scripts, practice language of sales. Number 4 is be accountable to your time, to your to-do list, and all of that stuff. So what I did here, and this isn't perfect by any means, there's more in the book, and as you meet agents, study, people say, well, what's the lifestyle of an agent? And what does that look like? I muted you. If you need to say something, unmute yourself. People always ask, like, well, what does the day in the life of a realtor look like based on everything we've talked about? So I put this together as kind of an example. I call it the Red Sign Team Perfect Agent Calendar, or whatever I called it, just to show it as an example. But let's just walk through it. First, miracle morning. there's a book out there called Miracle Morning, and they do a whole bunch of different versions of it. One of the versions is like the realtor. So you follow this like lazy realtor that like masters his whole life by essentially mastering his morning. And Miracle Morning talks about, there you go, right there. It's a great little book. You can read it in a couple hours, but it just talks about how to really kick off your day right with a miracle morning. I always, everybody starts with scripts and dialogues every morning. And there's a few different power up, and there's a few different ways to do this. When I was in Ignite with you guys, I literally just formed a little group with some friends that I had made and said, hey, are you guys planning on being in the office every day? And they said, yeah. I say, hey, how about before our Ignite class, let's get together a little earlier, 8:30, and let's just practice like reading through and like role playing some of these scripts. And we'd have fun with it, you know, and sometimes we'd invite other agents that were a little more experienced to come and share and just do a little power up and just practice, you know, practice those answers, those scripts. Then you jump into lead gen. Why do you do lead gen first thing in the day? Why is it recommended that the very first thing you do in the day, after you've warmed up your brain through power up and scripts and dialogues, why do you go hop on the phones first? Not necessarily, because there's an argument against that that says it's a terrible time to call people first thing in the morning. They might say that. Yeah, well, it's when your willpower is highest. Remember, willpower is not on demand all throughout the day. Your willpower usually starts the highest in the morning, and then you chisel away at it as you do things throughout the day. So normally, do your prospecting first in the morning, not necessarily because that's when people are most receptive, but it's when you have the most energy and the most willpower to do it. You say, oh, I'll do it at 4 o'clock every day. Trust me, you're not doing it at 4 o'clock. You are burned out. And talking to people is the last thing you're going to want to do. I also even break down the morning to doing the hardest thing. There's that book out there, Eat That Frog First or whatever, but it's essentially the book that talks about you do the hardest thing absolutely first to just get it out of the way. And so I have the not mets. These are the outbound, if you're doing them, if it's in your model, these are the outbound cold calls. It's the hardest thing first. I'm going to do an hour of just good old-fashioned hard calls. Maybe they're warm calls, not totally cold calls, but it's the hard ones first. Then I go into the little bit easier. I'm calling my friends and family, and then I work up to lead follow-up. And if you start to really get effective, lead follow-up can grow and grow and grow and grow to where I only need to do an hour of outbound before I'm doing like 2 hours of lead follow-up because my Facebook campaigns are killing it, or all my voicemails that I left are killing it, because lead follow-up is where the money's at, right? But you've got to have leads to follow up with. That's why you do these first. And then lunches. Lunches are purposeful. You're in real estate, right? You're in the relationship game. And so I have a lunch with an SOI a few times. I have a lunch with a potential recruit or another agent. Now I meet with other agents at other brokerages for 2 reasons. First, yeah, it's cool. I want to recruit them. Profit share is a real thing at Keller Williams. But also more importantly, I do want to network with other brokers and get into relationships, because when I get into multiple offer situations or I'm doing deals, having that relationship wins deals. Yeah.
Question about lunches. So that's one of the things I like doing. So with lunches, do you offer to pay every time?
Every time. Yeah, trust me, you guys want to go to lunch with me because you're not buying.
Yeah, because that's what I was doing, and then it gets expensive, and so until you start making money. So yeah, that's what I thought, but I just wondered what you.
Yeah, it's straight marketing. It's my business card. It's an expense. Lunches are also, you get a really good deduction on your taxes when you're like dividing it out. Meals is I don't think it's quite dollar for dollar, but it's very high. Now you'll meet some realtors that really have a great business because they're doing coffee they're doing Starbucks appointments in the mornings, and they're doing lunches, and they're doing like barbecues every week with like neighbors. They are just social. They are just face to face like crazy with people. And I wish I could get there more of it. It's a lot. It's a lot of time, and it is money. But yeah, Get Purposeful. Another quick little book, but you don't even have to read it because the cover says everything you need to know. Never Eat Alone. Great little book, but it's a very good principle. Like, don't eat alone. You're in a networking job now, right? So different lunches. So that's Red Sign Team. So that's culturally, there's a team lunch, want to get together. Again, I think there's still a lot of value in doing lunches with other realtors. You guys is new. You should be offering to take other agents around the office, take them to lunch, say, can I pick your brain for 60 minutes and I'll buy you lunch? Hugely valuable. I'm gonna hide this real quick because you guys gotta see Saturday. Oh, I can put it up top. Gotta see Saturday. But let's look at the afternoons. Purple real quick. Service clients and file management, or in other words, whirlwind. This is the time you're checking your emails. This is the time that you're tinkering with your, oh, I need to do an addendum for that one deal because we're up to our seller disclosure deadline and we don't have everything filled out yet. I need to extend that. So many realtors panic. Oh my gosh, I have a deadline. I've got to do it first thing in the morning or else because I've got to provide good service. I promise you, file management can always wait till after lunch. Do not, you have to build a bunker and protect your lead gen time or you won't do it. You'll see as you're walking through the office, some people put signs on their door. Don't bother me, I'm lead generating. Go try to bug him, he's left now, but go try to bug him at 10 a.m. in the morning. He'll give you the bird because he's prospecting, right? Like he prospects really hard from about 8:30 to about 10:30. That's why he didn't roll down here until about 11 o'clock, right? Then in the afternoon, appointment. And I would even put in your calendar, buyer, listing or buyer consultation, need to fill it, right? Dedicate the times, but start doing it. Prepare and practice. This is where you're getting your CMAs ready, you're preparing, you're getting ready for your appointments. And then welcome to real estate. You're gonna have at least 2, if not more, evenings a week you're showing houses. That's a problem, you might be in the wrong business. Obviously, I try to do afternoons as much as possible, but the truth is most people, they can't go out and look at houses till after work. So that's why most of my career, I've tried to do Tuesday and Thursday nights. It's shifted around, but I've been very clear with my wife that like, hey, like you just got to know a couple of nights a week, I'm not showing houses till 9 o'clock at night. And then Saturdays, right? Saturdays, maybe not every Saturday, but certainly at least 2 out of your 4 Saturdays a month should be real estate days. And you're either out showing houses or you're doing open houses, even 2 open houses. You're doing everything. Saturdays are work days in this business. Now I get it, you got to take a break once in a while. So I'm not gonna say every Saturday, but in a perfect world, you'd have some just solid Saturdays. This was a work weekend for me. You guys heard my story about my Saturday with that couple. I worked all day Saturday and about a half day yesterday. And we're pretty lucky in Utah. Sundays aren't real estate days. You go to California though, or other states, Sundays are like the real estate day, right? That's when everybody does their open houses. Utah's nice though. You can usually catch a break on a Sunday. And if you ignore some calls, people don't crucify you for it on a Sunday, right? And then a couple of personal evenings. Questions about this? What ahas do you have looking at this calendar?
So are some days where your personal time is just fair later because you're showing houses?
Right, yep. Yep, he just said on the personal time. Well, and I'll tell you, personal time can get, obviously that's going to get flexible to some degree, but there's a few times where I'll sit down because I plan out my week every day on Sunday with my wife. We'll just say, hey, like we're doing a barbecue Friday nights or birthday, like that doesn't get touched, right? That's the most important, the most important time. Everything can get worked around that one. Great question. I said, how do you tell clients? I literally say I have an appointment. If you said, hey, can we meet Friday night at 7 o'clock? I say, oh, shoot, I've got a really important appointment. I can't miss it. My appointment is literally my wife's birthday on Friday, right? But I just say, I have an appointment. Yeah, sorry, can't make it. I have an appointment. Questions, ahas on this. What would it do to your business if you really had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 appointments in a week? You'd be the top agent in the whole office. There's nobody doing 7 appointments every week in the office. But there are plenty of weeks where I'll have 5, 6 appointments in a week, and it's like so much like paperwork and so much work to do, but man, it's fun. It's fun.
Is this your actual calendar?
No. Nope, it changes with time. This is your actual calendar. Now it modifies because your focus shifts to different things. You'll get to a point after several years in the business where you don't have to do nearly as much outbound. My prospecting right now is very, very like refined to just my SOI, and I don't have to do any outbound, prospecting. I've earned it, right? I get enough business from that, from my SOI that it satisfies the goals that I have. But it took years and years to get there. A lot of calling. Okay, before we wrap up, I want 3 or more ahas from today in general. What'd you learn? Ahas for the day. Who had a light bulb go click? That was a cool idea. Ahas. And Zoomers, feel free to pipe in too. Contact people, ask for referrals, thank them after. The 10-4. Awesome. What else? I'd call them models. Yeah, don't go recreate the wheel. Follow the models. The models really are in front of you. There's some real simple things that really will create some good business for you. What else? Sydney. Scripts will quickly dissipate when you get asked a really hard question like, hey, it's probably better if I sell my house at least 6 months, right? And you say, I have no idea. Is that a good idea? Is it better to sell now or should I wait for 6? You better know the answer to these, right? And you're going to learn those through scripts. Yeah.
Mason has something over here.
Oh, go ahead. Bingo. Totally. Scripts are just answers.
And I want to challenge you guys. If you are coming, you should be coming to Ignite 5-6 times, honestly. We've had one of our top agents, Julie Flowers, she just came on less than a year ago in October. She's already been like 5 times. But she just keeps coming because every
it's fun
session.
to pop in and out. Like Scott popped in for a bit, Aaron popped in a bit, and that's great. Like pop in and brush up on your.
Because you're going to learn, you're going to take away an aha every time, something different. But I want to challenge you guys in this group to come a little bit early, come at 9:15 and do script practice with each other for 15 minutes before Ignite on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I think it's better in person. You could do it through Zoom, but I think if you guys are coming to Ignite anyway, come early and do some script practice role play with one another. There's a script book inside of your Ignite binder that's going to walk you through those scripts and like, let's say answers instead of scripts. But get a group together like Clay was saying and practice those. It's that repetition and practicing that's going to get you more comfortable when you're asked those questions. Rich, you had an aha.
Awesome. Yeah, do that 10-4. And that 4th one, don't neglect it. Learn the inventory. Imagine if the MLS was just in your head. There you go. Totally. Just go camp outside of model homes when you see people walking up. Do you have a buyer's agent? Oh, you don't? Let's go. And walk in, right? It's not a bad idea. Uh-huh. Yep, totally. Yep, what else? Zoomers, any ahs?
I really like this. I really like this class. Thank you very much, Clay.
No, you're welcome. I'm glad you were able to jump on Zoom. Hopefully you were able to hear at least most of the comments. We didn't do a very good job passing the microphone around, but.
I did. I hear everything. I have the book. Thank you.
Oh, sweet. Perfect. Awesome. Well, I will challenge you guys with this. Your first script that you have to learn, and you'll have to learn this for the rest of your career too, but really the quicker you can get some really good answers on this, the better. And that is simply, why you? Why should I hire you, Brett, when I know I can hire 300 other agents in this office, or I can call Homey? Why you? Be able to have a good answer for that. Why you? What makes you, we call that your unique value proposition. And the more unique, the more better. You might not always have to use it, but Callie, why should I use you and not Mason? And try to have an answer that's not just bashing your competitor. I promise you negativity never works, right? So that's my challenge to you guys, is have that down as quick as you can, some kind of answer, because I promise in the next just like week, somebody's going to give you a little razz. Say, why are you just becoming a normal realtor when homies exist? You know, because they might not understand that whole thing. And that's a fair answer. That's a fair question for them to ask. Know how to address it. You know, go interview a bunch of agents on what their answer is to the homie question, you know, and try to refine that value proposition for you. Any questions before we wrap up?
I have a question.
Yeah.
This is more for, what's your name? I have like a little over 200 friends on Facebook. How do you have thousands? I always thought you were gonna say like 800. Yeah. Thousands. Like, how does that happen?
Because she's a TikTok superstar.
Yeah, I'm an influencer.
She's an influencer.
I think it was just like throughout high school, like I had volleyball, I had track, I was council, like just meeting different people, so like all the
But Brett, I will tell you, if you want to cheat, how many email addresses do you have in your phone or in your contacts? Quite a few. There's a button in Facebook where if you'll give it permission, especially if you're on an iPhone, where it'll go scrub all the email addresses in your phone and suggest friends and go through and friend.
Well, I have been going through groups that I'm a part of, like our neighborhood page and friend.
Yeah, and then also Facebook, of course, they have the little suggestion box where it's like, we suggest you're friends with these people. Spend a little bit of time each week going through that, meaning, oh yeah, I do know that person. Oh yeah, I do know that person, you know, and do it. I will tell you though, don't go crazy and just friend everybody. Like there's a whole social media strategy that be aware of. Be aware of your comments. Any opinion you share, know that you will offend 50% of your audience. Be very careful. I don't do politics. You'll never see me do a political post. Not on Facebook. Yeah. 7:15. Yep. I'm not one of those early guys that does CrossFit at 5 a.m. I'm not. But I go to bed kind of late. But I'm okay with it. Yeah. Works for me. But I still knock out a pretty good miracle morning. I do the routine with my kids in the morning. That's fun. I like it. It's Savers, Savars. It's in the book. It's like, now you're going to question me. It's like love is one of them. One of them's like gratitude. One of them's like meditate. Then there's exercise. Yeah, it's an energy regimen, right? And so it's like, say your prayers, be grateful, whatever, do a little meditation. One of them is exercise. One of them's, I think it's love. So it's like spend some time with your loved ones. And then one of them's, what are you putting in your body? Like, what are you eating? Boom, miracle morning.
Millionaire real estate investor, Gary Keller has
Yeah, he did a morning routine in MREI. Yeah.
I need to get to that page.
Yep. Everyone get the red book. Okay, we're done.
So you guys, can we give Clay a hand?
Give these guys.
He went over.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I went
This
way over
is like
time, but
Clay, one of the owners of Westfield, creator of West. Like, this is like big time that he said, you know what, Mondays are really hard. I'm like, I don't care. We need you down here, because he does the best kickoff to Ignite and goes into detail about the whole foundation of what kind of this business revolves around. And so I forced him to come. And so I really appreciate him taking the time, because I know how busy he is. Like,
it's always
super,
funny when
super
people
busy.
say, oh, he's big. I really am just still feel like a kid playing real estate, honestly.
Well,
it never
clearly you're
changes.
not,
It never
so-
changes. Like what you guys feel right now, it always just.
But it's
just
just,
winging
you
it.
guys just learned from Clay, who is just a rock star in this office. So we really, really appreciate you, Clay. And just doors always open. I say this about a lot of the agents, but it's true. Doors always open. I'm always willing to answer questions. I love his story with him and Johnny Christensen, one of the other owners of the office, of how they were just friends and students and learned together and went through this whole process together and are still learning. You both are in school right now still? You and
Don't tell
Johnny?
people that. We have class tonight.
But tell them what you're studying.
Have you guys ever, the University of Utah, go Utes, has a master's in real estate development. And so with my focus on new construction, I just started doing those night classes. I usually don't tell people that though, because like, what a step backwards. Like, aren't you like doing real estate?
No,
Like,
I'd
why
say
are you
that.
going back to school? Because I'm learning base, guys. I'm learning base.
Awesome. So we appreciate you, Clay. So,
Okay, we're done. Aaron, anything to add? Okay, good advice. Just do the 10-4, right? Make your calls. If you learn nothing else this class, just do your freaking 10-4. That's it.
Okay, as Clay mentioned, you guys, on Wednesday, 9:30 a.m. is Cameron Hyatt. He's another one of our top agents. He's awesome. He used to be a highway patrolman, and he has a cool story as well. Every agent does, how they got started. But he'll be teaching Wednesday at 9:30. Like I said, though, you guys get together, get each other's contact information, come at 9:15, and do some script practice until Ignite starts. But Cameron's going to be teaching on Tuesday how to lead generate. So come to that class and let me know if you guys have any questions.
Okay, thanks guys. There's my email. Call me, text me if you need anything. Yep, you got it. You got it. Anybody? You're welcome. Yep, thank you. Oh, yep, I still have them.
Thank you.
Oh, shit.